Alright, so this is going to be a VOD review for TSM versus Empire on Kafe. So starting off with the bans, Empire bans out Capital. So Empire doesn't like to, they don't like to run Capital, and they don't like to have him run against them. Because Capital is a very strong operator for players who know how to use him correctly. Because you can kill about 10 seconds with each fireball, combined bringing with 2 smokes as well, none of which can be countered with ADSs. You can clear out corners, clear out stop rotates. You have a lot of utility you can use with Capital, and a lot of teams don't like going against them. And Empire, I don't think they've ever run Capital, so they're not going to run him, and because they're not running him, they also don't want him to be used against them. Then TSM bans out Jackal and Echo. So Jackal is kind of I'd say that's a little bit of a target ban onto Joystick. Now I'm not sure how much he runs Jackal on this map in particular. However, he runs Jackal a good amount on Clubhouse. So it's not uncommon for him to go there. Now it could be that TSM wants to go for a heavy roaming strategy, and they want to be able to play a bit more fluidly and not give away free information. Because Jackal is really strong on Kafe, or really any map with staircases being the main way you get up and down them, even though that's technically every map. But because of the red hatch above the red stairs, you can normally get a Jackal track onto at least one of the roamers, and you can just get a lot of information. If anybody goes upstairs on Kafe, you're going to be able to find their footprints and track them for, I think it's 25 seconds now. But a lot of people don't want to deal with that. So if TSM wants to be able to fall back, roam how they want to, and not give away free information, they're going to ban out Jackal. Then TSM also bans the Echo. I'm not sure exactly about that ban. It could just be a comfort ban where they're saying we don't want to run Echo, but we don't want him to be run against us either. I think that TSM has run Echo in the past, as has Empire. However, I don't think either team really has a player you'd say, yeah, that guy's the Echo player. He's a great Echo, like he's a great smoke or something. And so I think they're just saying we don't want to deal with it. Then Empire bans out Mira. They hate Mira. They always ban Mira. They've never run Mira. I don't think they've ever gone against a Mira. They just say we're not going to deal with her, and they ban her out because they don't want to deal with her. She's a very strong operator that completely changes the defense, and a lot of people don't want to deal with that. So they just ban her out. And with that, we move on to the game.
Consulate is definitely not one of seen her just yet.
All right, we're getting the trends there. A couple 6 picks as they will kind of be used to counter each other out in a way.
So starting out, TSM on the attack, Empire on the defense. Now Kafe is technically a defender-sided map as of now. However, that's mainly due to it being a new map, and no team really has the strategy when it comes to taking every site. Like Clubhouse, because it's been in rotation for so long, most teams know how to play it, and so it's actually becoming a lot more not necessarily attacker side, but a lot more even. Kafe, it'll probably do the same thing within the next 6 months, and it'll go from being less of a defender-sided map and more to an equal map that favors more the better team. But with that, TSM, they start on the attack, and Bolo is on the Zofia. So you bring Zofia for soft destruction so that you can, well, there's actually a few reasons. Okay. One is for the soft destruction of breaching charges, the Zofia stuns, and you can apply vertical pressure that way. The next reason is that when Maestro is in play, Zofia is incredibly useful for getting rid of the cameras because you don't want to ever be giving away free information. And if a Maestro is in play, and just down a hallway, you don't want to push that hallway in a 1v1 or a 4v4 or any time really, because one of the dead guys is probably going to be on that camera giving the information that you are here. And so Zofia is brought to get rid of that, as well as her concussion mines are great for burning ADSs, as well as testing to see whether or not somebody is holding a close angle in different areas. Then Pojo Man is on the Thermite, so you only need one hard breacher for Kafe, and Thermite normally is the one you elect for because you normally have to open up 2 walls. And those 2 walls on the top defense, well, really on anything besides a bakery defense, is going to be the red wall leading into piano, and the wall leading into piano from the red stairs, and the freezer wall in piano. Those are the 2 main walls you need to open up. Now, yes, you can possibly want to open up a hatch or something like that. However, for most attacks, except on bakery, you do a top-down clear. On bakery, it's more of a horizontal clear, and you'll want to open up the bakery wall or the freezer wall, at which point you only need 1. So you don't ever need to bring a double hard breacher, unless maybe a Maverick if the Thatcher is banned, and Hibana maybe if you are only trying to establish kill holes. However, normally you want to be able to rotate through things, so Thermite's brought for that. Then Merc is on the Twitch. That's just a comfort pick. There is literally no reason to be going a Twitch except for the gun, really. At this level of play, you're not going to be able to use her drone effectively to destroy utility, just because so many people are going to be looking out for it that you just won't be able to get it through drone holes. You'll be able to get through drone holes, but you're not going to be able to just send it into sight, because people are aware of that. They're going to be looking for it. They don't want to give up utility, and so they're going to be keeping their eye open for a Twitch drone. Well, really for any drone, because as an attacker, the only form of information you have is those 10 drones. So you never want to just sacrifice one trying to go into sight, trying to get an ADS. Then Achieved is on the Buck. That's for vertical pressure as well as grenades. Really, Buck is just overall a very well-balanced operator, kind of like Zofia as well, where they just have a lot going for them, but you can't classify them as overpowered. You can only classify them as strong, because they are very flexible in most situations. And Buck is brought a lot of times for, 1, you can apply vertical pressure, 2, you can apply horizontal pressure by shooting open any soft walls, you bring grenades so you can nade people out of positions, and you have a good gun. Then Bio is on Thatcher. So with there being a Cade, Bandit, Mute all in play, you need a way of opening up walls to maybe a Cade is thrown below the freezer wall. Maybe it has Bandit batteries on it. Maybe there's an ADS protecting any Mute jammers from a grenade being thrown in from Skylight. Doesn't really matter. Either way, you need a way of getting rid of stuff, and that's why Thatcher's brought. And then with that, we move on to Empire's side. So Joystick is on the Jaeger. The Jaeger pick is kind of a comfort pick for a Joystick. He's kind of the fragger of Empire, kind of like how Kanto is the fragger of G2, arguably. Even though everybody on Empire can frag out, it's just more Joystick. That is his role. He's there to play aggressively. Now, with that, the Jaeger's kind of brought over other operators because you want to be able to stop any of the utility coming from TSM. You want to stop the grenades, the stun mines. You want to protect. You want to be able to hard hold positions from flashbangs so you don't just get flashed and then push. So that's why Jaeger's normally elected to be brought. Then Dana's on the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie's there for information, but really the strong thing about the Valkyrie in this situation is that anybody with a nitro cell, when you're defending the upstairs, you can hop down below, and you can nitro cell most of the plant spots in this in the upstairs defense, just because most of the floor is soft, which is really strong late game. Where if you can delay a team for 20 seconds as a Valkyrie, to 20 seconds, you can then jump down and you can wait for pings on the camera, throw a nitro cell, get a kill. Bomb has gone down. The enemy now has to pick it up and try and plant somewhere else. So that's why nitro cells are really strong on this site, just because of the vertical play allowed. Then Scyther's on the Mozzie. So I think Mozzie's a really good operator on Kafe, just because there's so many choke points that a Mozzie can stop a lot of the droning. You can put one by the Pixel Peak in White Hallway upstairs, and no drone will be able to get past that. If you put another one in the red doorway, the red doorway leading down the red stairs, and one on white stairs, that's not going to stop every drone. That's going to stop a large amount of drones from gaining any form of information early on. And the attackers have to either waste time trying to get it out without exposing themselves, waste utility like a Thatcher to get rid of it, or a grenade, or a Twitch drone, or they have to sacrifice a drone sending it through to allow more drones to go past it. And so Mozzie is a really strong operator here because of that, as well as with the nitro cell and the shotgun, you can play vertically extremely well with him. Then Kurzeka's on the Maestro. That's to allow for long angles to be played, and just because you bring a large amount of fragging power with his gun, as well as his Maestro cams. If they're not destroyed, then you can... Well, if they're not destroyed, then you're going to be constantly gaining information from them. And then even if they are destroyed, then you're still wasting utility of the attackers that they can't use elsewhere. Then Shepard is on the smoke. You can kill 30-40 seconds of time with a smoke, with smoke, if you know how to position his canisters correctly, which is really useful in just about every map. And so there's a reason why he, at least from the last time I saw it, he has something like an 80% pick rate. Even though I think that's actually wrong, but he's one of the, I think, the top 3 most picked operators. Anyway, with that, we move on to the map.
You never want to present Valkyrie off rip, because then that's just immediate 6-pick over to IQ. Your cameras don't work, and it's going to work out for Team Empire in spades here, as they will 6-pick over the Valkyrie, and the IQ gets 6-picked off.
It's interesting the 6-pick away from the IQ. Could be a little dangerous as protecting the cameras from a more difficult task now, unless the Twitch drone, is able to spot them. Unless, we see Merc with a good eye there to be able to pick those off in the early round, especially if they're tossed outside. They may go unhindered, which means that that's...
Alright, so basic reinforcements for upstairs. You don't actually need many, but you need well, you don't need all of them, but you do need, I think you need 8 of the 10. You put 2 on this wall. Now, the point of reinforcing this red piano wall, red wall, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. You reinforce this wall to waste the utility of the attackers, where they have to drop the hatch here and then put a thermite charge on one wall, and then there's only one thermite charge remaining. So if you can bandit trick, if you can K trick, if you can impact trick, you really can't here. If you can throw a nitro cell through here from below to take out the thermite charge, if you can throw an impact from below, if you can do anything, if you can just shoot it, then you can stop Freezer from getting opened, which is very strong on this site. Because if you can stop Freezer from getting opened, the only way that you can really push site effectively is from, well, not even effectively, the only way you can push site really is either through doorway here, by new hatch, or down white hallway. Technically, you can come up the white stairs, however, it's a very hard fight to win as someone is normally playing on there, and they can call over multiple people to help them if they need to. And a lot of teams just don't like pushing up the white stairs. And so if you're being funneled through a bunch of chokeholds or choke points, then that's really going to hurt your team on the attack. So that's the reasoning for the reinforcements on these 2 walls. Then Freezer walls reinforced. That's to allow for you to play Freezer. You don't want to ever just give it up free of charge. You want to always force the you need to force the attackers to have to use utility to open it up, and to waste time, waste bodies possibly trying to open it. Because if you lose Freezer, you're going to lose control of most of the site, because you can't effectively play inside of this general area once you lose control of the cigar, and you can't effectively play inside of here just because of the hatches. Same with the staircase. If you have window players, well, and then you also can't effectively play inside of this general area just because of all of the windows. You can get pushed from this doorway, you can get pushed through the wall, so you can't hold most of piano, and the only real place is inside of Pixel. However, most times teams don't actively hold it there because you can get firebolted, naded, shot from the white stairs window over here. There's a lot of ways to get rid of you, and so a lot of people don't like holding here once you really are getting pressured. And so you have to hold. If you really can't give up Freezer with all the rest of this all given up as well, because if you do, then that cuts off your ability to rotate really. Because as an attacker, you can put yourself in the pixel spot, holding an angle down white hallway. You now can't push white hallway. Then you can't push through the freezer, as that's been given up already. You didn't reinforce it. So now the only way you can really contest a plant going down here or here is to peek either this doorway, kill holes there, or this area right there. And if that's smoked off, then you're screwed. So you want to try and hold on to the freezer wall as long as possible. That's why this why this is shotgunned open. This is to allow someone to, one, play aggressively by just swinging out a freezer, and two, you can have this so that you can actually shotgun the bottom of it, throw a nitro cell up, and have it land directly on the thermite planting. And free kill, gets rid of the thermite charge, and it really just a good. It's a free kill, and you keep the freezer wall safe. Then reinforcements on the bathroom wall. So that's just a team preference thing. Some teams will reinforce, some teams won't. I think the main reasoning for this is to allow the pixel player to fall back to roughly around here, and then also there's only a rotate hole here. You can rotate. Oh god, this looks awful. Basically, whoever was holding pixel can rotate without fear of getting shot through the wall, as well as if you are if you're really trying to hold on to piano, waste more time, you can effectively play inside a bathroom, shoot a few times, then fall back. You don't have to just instantly give up this room the moment you try and get out of piano. Then one reinforcement on ping here. On ping, god. I'm so just having to say that. One reinforcement here. This is to allow a player to just sit right behind here. That's it. It protects you from getting shot from the skylight, shot from the door. Yeah, and really that's it. The whole point of this one is just to protect the body right here. And so long as this person is here, they can react to a plant going down. Normally, I think it's a smoke playing here, and their goal is just to wait as long as possible, and if necessary, throw smoke canisters if they need to. Really, it's just there to allow someone to reinforce. And then this one is also just a team-based thing, where I'm not 100% sure about it. I'm thinking that it's if you fall back into freezer, or if you lose freezer. Well, really two things. Let's say you lose the freezer wall, you can have somebody play here closely, so if the enemy tries to push in, they still have to contest you because you have a rotate hole right here. Then if the enemy tries to push down white, then you can actually fall back here behind the wall, and if they try and push in through bathroom, then you can either swing, or you can either swing or just shoot them as they come through the rotate hole. Either way, it gives you something to put your back to and lets you play safely. Let's see if I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And normally there is a rotate hole on here and here. However, some teams will actually reinforce this. Most don't, though. I think Rogue is the main one that turtles up like that.
It's going to be some potential aggressive possibilities being opened up, especially in the early round for Empire.
Well, especially in recent history with how much Mozzie play we've had, and how incredible his break up flooring as well for Mozzie, Nitro Cell, and then the pest launch. The thing that has definitely made him a staple inside of competitive, where he's able to steal drones with those little spiders that he launches onto the floor, has control of them, and can even have control of those Twitch drones of Merc. So this is going to make it quite difficult for them to try and get any intel, especially if they start bringing out that Mute Mozzie combo that we've seen start to rear its ugly head in recent history.
Yeah, Scyther specifically choosing to go with a P10 on his Mozzie loadout.
Alright, so I'm not sure why Achieved has opened up this wall. Now, if you're trying to hold a rotate down white stairs, that makes sense. However, with the upstairs defense coming out, anything going down here, one, it's rare for someone to be flanking around here. Two, it's not worth investing a body for something that is unlikely to happen. Now, people do flank down the white up or down the white stairs here. However, it's not worth putting a body there. And then you're also opening up this wall, which will allow anybody to jump out of the east side, get a kill on whoever's repelling, jump down the balcony, and then go through this because you just made a rotate hole for them. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't think that Achieve should be here doing this. Now, maybe he's trying to just get an early pick. They think, okay, someone's going to be around the main lobby. We can catch them off. However, really, I'm not sure why exactly he's here. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, the one thing that I could think of is maybe they're trying to send Achieved down white stairs. I mean, on a flank up white stairs when whenever they're trying to go for the push, which would make a good amount of sense because you want to push from multiple areas at once, just to have crossfires established, be able to put 2-on-1 gunfights, and alleviate pressure from the other attackers. The problem with this, however, is I think he's doing it too early. You don't want to be worrying about a late flank that you're going to do at the 40-second mark, 20 seconds into the round. You want to go help your team get the push, because if Achieve can go upstairs and open up both hatches, well, now his skeleton key has used used the skeleton key to open up hatches, and with those hatches now being opened up, the Zofia, the Twitch, the Thatcher does not have to use their breaching charges to open that up, which will allow them to use their utility in other positions where they may need it more. And however, if they need to use 2 breaching charges for something, however, they've already used 2 of their 3 to open up the hatches, then that can be bad. So I think that it'd be better for Achieve to go upstairs, help his team push, and then go for this late flank that I think he's preparing for.
We've been seeing, I think a few more players tend to, especially at A at least, tend to prefer the other one, the Commando. Just because
And I'm completely wrong now. So if Achieved was worrying about going for the late flank, then it would make sense as they're too early. However, the thought process is for Merc to be able to apply pressure into a piano from this window, and so now he needs somebody watching the run out, or the doorway, exactly where the buck is. So this actually makes a lot of sense for the buck's positioning. Now, it's arguable as to whether or not this is the best push and best way to take piano. However, it's the one that TSM has elected for.
it has a few extra bullets in it. It's got a slow fire rate, though. I think it's a little bit slower to kill gen.
Now, Merc is face checking all of this. If he knew somebody was in there, he wouldn't be swinging across like that, trying to just pre-fire everything. If he knew that nobody was in there, he wouldn't be pre-firing. So right now, Merc is playing a little bit too aggressively. He has 2 shock drones. You have a total of 6 other drones you can be using. I'm taking out Buck's drones because he has to be watching the flank for Merc. So they can be. Somebody needs to be giving information to Merc. He's playing a little too aggressively here.
I personally found it to be slightly short on ammo. You have to be very on point with your aim to be able to confirm the kill, especially if you're fighting at like medium to long range with it. At short range, though, that thing absolutely rips players apart. And I think that's why a lot of, especially more active roaming players, tend to go with that over the Commando.
Yeah, the TTK on that is much shorter. Information now coming out from Merc, though, is he's going to waste both of his Twitch drones trying to gain some intel inside of Christmas's.
Red wall gets open.
Actually be kind of a detriment.
Red wall gets opened, and Joystick, who was playing the pixel angle, ran away. And one thing I forgot to mention about this angle right here is this establishes an angle that allows the Maestro, who's playing over kind of near the northeast corner, to shoot into piano and apply pressure for anybody running in there. It is, however, dangerous because any angle that you establish that you can use, the enemy can use against you. I think that Slash actually did it really well in their game against TSM on Kafe. I'm not sure. It was in one of their games. I think it was the one where Rogue won. However, yeah, it's the one where Rogue won, not the one where they got 7-1, 7-0.
This could actually be kind of a detriment.
Now, so Joystick has fallen back to white stairs. Valkyrie is now supporting inside a bathroom. That's why the bathroom reinforcements are there. And this is actually really good from Empire, in my opinion, because they have no reason to try and contest the piano once the wall is open, because they've wasted their time. They've done what they needed to, and they have no reason to really try and risk losing a body early on when all they have to do is fall back and hold angles.
Point. But Merc now has control of Christmas. Still in good timing as well. They need to get Pojo Man inside to get open the freezer wall.
Besides this, we've got Bolo looking to work his way in here. Starting to go for a little bit of pre-fire. No one from the side of Empire is going to choose to take that duel, though. They're still holding back relatively passively in their sight setup positions. Joystick as well.
Right, so Achieved went for the rappel, I believe, on the east side, and Joystick jumped out of a window and got a kill. So Empire will jump out of these windows constantly. It's one of it's just something they do, and it's something you have to be ready for. So it would have been really it's something that that Achieved or really all of TSM needs to know about to and they need to be able to react to it, because Joystick has jumped out of that white window so many times that it's something that he does. I mean, I know he plays white stairs, and if I know it, then TSM, just about every Pro League team should know it. So it's something that TSM didn't prep for. They could have put a Claymore down. They could have brought a Nomad. They could have had it in. I say could invest in another body. That's a bit more dangerous, just because well, not dangerous, but that kind of wastes a person, because you're kind of holding an angle, waiting for something that may or may not happen. But really, it's just something that TSM, they had an oversight in their attack strategy, and it's as simple as put a Claymore down.
A leap out through the windows, and he's going to be able to find Achieved in the early round. Makes it back in through the garage downstairs as well.
That's a huge pick as well. Achieved, known for his buck play and those nades, but it's going to be Shepard to tack on as Pojo Man will fall.
Early round makes it back in through the garage downstairs as well.
That's a huge pick as well. Achieved, known for his buck.
Alright, so Shepard was playing inside of Freezer, got aggressive on the Thermite, peeked him, and got the kill on the Pojo Man. So this is a mistake coming out from Bio on the Thatcher. He was supposed... So, once again, this comes down to kind of just I think it was just bad timing more than anything. I think Bio was trying to get into position. But Bio was holding an angle on the... he's on the skylight, and he can see Shepard right now. However, I think he went and had tried to go for a pick somewhere else, where maybe he's looking over on the left, more near the where the Maestro's holding, and that just led to Smoke being able to just run out and get a kill. Then also, nobody of TSM was paying attention to this wall. That's the next big mistake coming out for them. So there's two ways to stop this. The first is you have someone on the skylight, and they just hold an angle on the freezer ready for this run out. Nobody did that, and that let Pojo die. Then the second way is that you have somebody, normally you'd be playing around here because you have the cover of this railing. You can hold around there holding an angle here. Either one works, and it's just an oversight coming out from TSM. Alright, Shepard takes a good amount of damage from Thatcher on the roof, and then Merc peeks Joystick on white stairs and loses the gunfight.
Team Empire being able to continue this ride as Merc will fall next. Only Bolo and Bio left alive, and it seems that Team Empire has chosen the turtle route instead of getting overly aggressive. They're going to continue to use...
And that is the long angle coming out from the Maestro.
The crossfires from Karzeka will bear fruit.
And here is Thatcher on the roof. And just think about this. Imagine if Thatcher was just holding an angle onto Freezer, and what would that have changed? But really, I'd say this round came down to two big things. First is the the jump out onto the Buck, getting a free kill there, no refrag. And then the second one was Pojo dying to the smoke because the Thatcher wasn't holding the right angle. Those are the two big things that lost TSM this round. While if we look at it, Merc died because he lost a gunfight. He peeked something, lost a gunfight. It's just the way that it happens. And then Bolo, he's trying to figure out what to do. Is just peeking everything, waiting for someone to peek, loses the fight as well, doesn't see the Maestro holding a pixel.
Bolo will fall as well, and it seems like this might be a perfect round to start things off for Team Empire.
Yeah, Bio unfortunately not really in a position where he can leverage much against this 1v5 1v5 situation. He was meant to sit up here, provide utility into the late round with those EMP grenades, but now has to drop in and basically work the execute from square one. Still, with not a whole lot of progress made on the destruction, you can see he's got access.
Now, Bio's trying to just find something, find some pick. If you're ever in a 1v5 and you're playing with friends or with your team, go and hide. Just hide, don't go for a pick. Wait for them to come to you, because one, somebody is, and you're going to get a kill, and that's going to piss them off. And if you can tilt the enemy in any form or way, that can help your team. Two, the more important reason why you hide is you can talk with your team, let them kind of cool down a little bit over the next minute, and then from there you can then figure out what you need to do more of. Because right now Empire's trying to figure out where this Thatcher is, while if the Thatcher just hides on the roof, then the Thatcher can talk about what do we do wrong, what do we need to do right, and that would benefit TSM more than sending in the Thatcher trying to get an impactless frag. And now the next big thing I want to, well, not big but kind of small, but Bio has a Claymore that was never used. That just kind of comes down to a waste of utility from TSM. Bio was mainly on the roof, so why he couldn't just spawn with Achieved, go put a Claymore down on the white window for him, rappel up, and then go to Skylight, I don't know. And that is the wrong one. There we go.
His way inside of the freezer at least,
but one of the strongest thing you can do, in my opinion, as a player, is to learn how to use your utility to the best of its ability. Because just learning how to use your utility effectively can help you win games. Yeah, it really just helps you win games, because knowing how to hit a nade that most other players can't, knowing how to hit a nade or a firebolt in a corner where a lot of people will stay, learning how to properly Mavericks to stop a bandit trick within the first 30 seconds of a round, learning how to support your team by saying, okay, my friend is going to be peeking here, however he's exposed to a run out from here, so I'm going to put my Claymore down here. Knowing that, okay, I know there's no bandit battery here, but there's possibly an ADS, so I'm going to burn that with my EMP, and then from there, that will allow my teammate to nade him. And my teammate may never know that the only reason he can nade that guy is because of me, but that doesn't matter, because he gets that kill, we can push sight, we can win, we win, everyone's happy. Learn how to use your utility. And remember, it's better to put down utility that does nothing than not put it down at all. Because if you put down utility and it doesn't do anything, then it at least has the chance of doing something. If you never put it down, then it never will do anything. And with that, this is over. So on to the next round we go. So with that, Merc is off of Twitch and onto IQ. Now, I never liked the Twitch pick in the first place. I think that there's always somebody you can go bet. There's someone better you can go. Now, if there is if there's like a huge amount of utility in play and Thatcher's banned, then maybe. However, it really just comes down to you better have a good reason for going Twitch. Now, you can somehow get a mirror window or two every single round you go Twitch with her drone within the first minute, then you can stay on Twitch and you can do whatever you want and you can tell me to shut up. But if you're not being that effective for your team, then find somebody else who is. Now, IQ's in play, and that's to counter out the Valkyrie. It's also kind of, Merc said, okay, I wanted to go Twitch, I wanted the fragging power, it didn't work out, I lost the gunfight. So I'm going to switch characters. And one thing to note about TSM is they rely heavily on winning one-on-one gunfights to get rounds, get maps, because they struggle a bit when it comes to team play. And that just comes, like, you kind of saw it last round where nobody was really backing anyone up. It just became, there were two kills from Empire that weren't traded back. And that may seem small, but that's actually kind of big in the pro scene. Because if you can at least get a trade, then what was a 3v5 can become a 3v3. It's one thing that Empire and G2 actually really G2 I would say does really well is they can go for trades, and they position themselves specifically to allow for trades. Now with that, Empire, joystick is still on Jaeger to block any nades, allow him to hard hold positions, do whatever he wants. Then Dan is on Legion. So Legion's an information operator. You throw down you throw down a goo mine. You throw one down at the bottom of the stairs here, you know if they're pushing up the stairs. You put one right here, you know if they're pushing this way. Put one in this hallway, you know if they're pushing the hallway. If you put two, one there, well actually, if you put one here, you know if they're pushing here or here. So think about this, you're in a 1v1 inside of here. You're trying to figure out which way you need to be looking, how you need to position yourselves. Well, this goo mine goes off. Only way they can come in is through here. Okay, so now I'm going to position myself behind here using the sofa for cover, holding an angle like this. Then what's this? This goo mine goes off. Okay, I'm going to go and position myself behind, actually not behind that pillar, but I'm going to change my positioning, go through the rotate hole we have to here, hold an angle. And that's what I'm going to do there. But whether or not you win or lose doesn't matter. What does matter of that is that you have information that you can react to, and that can be very big in just 1v1 situations, 1v2s. If you can put a goo mine as a Legion, if you can put a goo mine down here and here, and you're holding here, and it's a 1v2, but neither of these activate, then you know that they're going to be pushing through here to go for the plant or go for the kill. So that's his strength. Then Scythu's on Mozzie, once going to stop drones, play vertically with the Nitro Cell. Really just, Mozzie's a really good operator all around. Then Karzeka is on the Valkyrie for information again. And then Shepard is on the smoke in order to kill 30-40 seconds.
Last one of the round, but Team Empire ready on that front.
And now, a little bit about the site. This is a top-down defense. You hold up top, you basically just hold up top. If they try and push you, well, you have to hold it from top down, because if you give up top control, then you give up too much of the map and too many areas that you can react to, because the majority of this ceiling is destructible from what I remember. With that being destructible, you have to maintain top control, or else you're going to be pushed out of the B bomb site. The next issue is that for the retake, you can't use this entire area for a retake, because you have both of the new balcony. Well, yeah, you have both of the new balcony areas roughly here and here that you can look down at. So you cannot be trying to go through that doorway. So that's why you hold it from top down and not from trying to hold a horizontal hold. Now you can do a horizontal hold. It's just a lot more difficult, and it normally isn't as effective. Then the A bomb you turn into a kill box, where you just shoot open stuff on either side. Some teams reinforce there, some don't. But you turn into a kill box because you mainly just don't want to plant A. It's normally easier to go for B just because it's easier in a post plant, easier in a plant, and A is just awkward. So that's kind of the reasoning why you would go to that's kind of just the thoughts between the two bombs. And so with that, reinforcement wise, normally you put two here and then one or two on this wall just to stop an angle like this, stopping rotates. However, with the balcony here, I don't think that these two are really that important, because you're stopping shots going into the pillar area. Problem is that if you position yourself up here looking down, you still can't rotate around. So, and this is something that's almost instantly given up every single round. So these two are like kind of the most questionable. However, you can still use them. And then this one is here. I'm not sure exactly about the purpose of it. I haven't ever seen it too useful, but yeah, really I'm not sure. My two thoughts is it allows somebody to hold either side, where if the enemy's trying to push in through train, it allows you to hold safely here and then swing. And then if they're trying to push up or down the stairs, you can then swing like that.
which is that pretty much straightforward attack through Christmas into Freezer. Like you were saying, they really have a lot of defenses to try and deal with the roam.
Now, piano wall reinforced again. It normally is reinforced.
Ultimately, though, they could not make their way past that site setup that seems so strong from Empire. And this is going to be something that TSM are going to have to try and very quickly figure out. How do we get past these more like
Freezer wall reinforced.
very strong setups that we'll start to see from Empire? As Empire used to play this pretty crazy aggressive strategy too on defense, but I've noticed over the last couple of months, especially with the departure of Shockwave, they've kind of cooled it down a little bit. But that doesn't mean they don't know how to play against that kind of really fast, really aggressive style that TSM love.
So freezer wall reinforced, same single reinforcement here.
TSM might find themselves a little bit out of their element here in certain situations.
Yeah, Kafe is a map where you can transition very, very well, top to bottom. It's more like Coastline, but not with the massive center. Instead, you can hop down from the top balcony, you can transition from the third floor.
Joystick trying to get aggressive. You can argue whether or not he should. I personally don't think he should. He has gotten kills like that, and I think he actually did in their game against G2. However, it's something I just disagree with the play style overall of trying to go for spawn peaks. I think that they're high risk, relatively. I mean, they're high risk, high reward, but why not go for a medium risk, high reward, or a low risk, high reward?
On this map, so roaming presence is definitely something that's coming quite easily, especially with the likes of Team Empire. You have Joystick and Scyther on roam right now, with the other three on anchor, and as we've already seen, Joystick definitely knows how to make a move and get some presence. But again, especially with that last round, playing things very slow here, and oh no, it might be seeming that Joystick's going to go fishing out the window again. He opens up white.
Joystick has opened up white window.
He nearly found one at the beginning of the round, actually.
Marcus, same push. Okay, so Bio is now in position to refrag a run out from out the window. The problem, however, is now Merc is on an island. Merc, the reason why Buck was here in the first place, shooting in, was to protect Merc when he was repelling into Piano. So, why Achieved is now instantly, why Achieved is on this window instead of down here, even though Piano hasn't been taken control of. I think that's kind of just kind of a misplay in the execution where Achieve changes position too early. Next, Bio here. That's not... Yes, he's in a position that he can get a refrag. However, why would you position yourself like that? Instead of just putting a Claymore down, which we know he has, that's right like this. So Joystick jumps out, gets the kill onto Achieved, hits the Claymore and dies. Or Joystick jumps out, tries to shoot the Claymore, maybe misses, maybe hits. Achieved then gets the kill on him because he made a lot of noise. So you're either going for a 1-for-1 trade or you're just getting a free kill on the Joystick. And so I don't get why there's just not a Claymore here. It seems like that would make it a lot simpler and a lot less dangerous. As well as right now, Merc's in a dangerous position because nobody is holding the door right here for the run out or just for it to be hit. So I kind of disagree with the positionings of Achieved and Bio. Now, if there was a Claymore down here, put down by Bio, then Achieved went to the window, and then Bio was holding an angle, then great, that makes sense. However, Bio's on a drone, leaving Merc alone, no Claymore, so Achieved's going to go down. Well, if there's a jump out, then Achieved's probably going to die. So at best, TSM's going to get a 1-for-1 trade. At worst, they're going to actually lose 3 bodies because Joystick's going to jump out, get a kill on Achieved, jump down, see Bio on his drone get a kill, swing around, Merc's going to miss his shots. Now, he probably isn't, but this is a worst case scenario, and Joystick hits his. You just lost 3 guys. So I feel like this is kind of just miscommunication where actually this might be a Claymore right there. I'm not sure. We will have to see. But actually, oh no, there is a Claymore there. Okay, I completely missed that. So okay, so I like this more. However, I do wish Bio was holding an active angle down here to help protect Merc. Because Merc is droning right now. Merc is on his drone. So anybody comes to kill him, he's dead.
Just over there by the pink van, but I think he missed the Q on it or just decided not to react to it. And as a a result. That means he's still hidden. They don't necessarily know he's going to get aggressive. A nade for achieved. Don't think it's going to meet its mark, unfortunately, as it looks like either Dan or
So good nade, good kill.
Dan does get caught on a rotate, though. Pojo Man able to isolate him out. This is already...
So I'm not sure what the idea was for Dan to rotate like that. He was playing inside a freezer, rotated out into the main lobby, and got killed from, well, into the I think it's a bar, but I'm not 100% sure about the call out. I don't know how to call out for that. Well, I can't remember what it is. But anyway, he gets killed. So questionable rotation by Dan. Doesn't really matter. He gets killed. So good from Pojo, good from Achieved.
Some good adjustments from TSM. They've slowed it down immensely. They're not going straight.
So with this is
Pojo Man able to isolate him out. There's already some good adjustments from TSM. They've slowed.
So this is something I hate about the game. Because of the destruction, you can use those bullet angles where you can make like a bullet hole and you can see them very easily, but they can't see you. This just comes down to droning. Now, you can argue that there's no way Bolo would know that somebody is there. However, this is something that Team Empire does a lot of, especially the Valkyrie. So it's something that you have to recognize. And right now, if TSM was droning better, they could see, oh hey, the Valkyrie is holding behind here, just staring at a wall for some reason. Huh, wonder why. Well, that's why. So kind of poor droning for TSM there.
Trying to use utility a lot more. However, the trade comes in from Karzeka as he knocks out Bolo in response.
Beautiful angle there by Karzeka on the Valkyrie, playing over on near new balcony over inside of Cocktail. But quick shots is gonna be
Merc misses his shots, Joystick hits his. Really, it's something I kind of said about TSM where they rely on one-on-one gunfights. I kind of wish that Merc was playing a bit more passively on the white stairs there instead of holding an active angle. Now, normally I would say hold an active angle on the stairs. However, it's Joystick. Is Joystick. He is insane. So saying that you want to take a one-on-one fight against him is really dumb in my opinion. And it's just something that, I mean, Merc said he could take the one-on-one gunfight, and he didn't. Now, if he was holding more of a passive angle, allowed for his team to collapse onto the Valkyrie, then that could have helped a lot more. Or Empire could try and double up on him, where they put one person on this window rappelling upside down, and then have Merc push down the white hallway, so that if Joystick tries to peek either one, they get killed in a crossfire. I think it's just that Merc took a one-on-one gunfight and he lost it. However, when it's a 4v4, you shouldn't have to take one-on-one gunfights if you're not even on site. Remember, Achieved has grenades, as well as Bolo theoretically could have burned the ADSs. So a little just kind of hiccup, I would say.
Initially, but Chief seems to have fallen off his angle. What they were trying to do is they were trying to pressure Cocktail and force them.
Bio gets Joystick on the run out.
Hideout inside of Cocktail towards the bar area or up White Hall.
Actually, no. So Joystick tried to rotate somewhere and got punished. Not sure where though.
TSM members were lying in wait, but doesn't appear to have worked out too well just yet. Dan has already rotated out as well. Karzeka will finally fall. They now have all
Karzeka goofs. So let's see this. Alright, so Karzeka just flat out ignored the rotate hold and tried to take a fight onto Achieved and got killed because of it. This is kind of why having the person on white stairs was really important for Empire, because you can't just hold one person upstairs. There has to be somebody assisting them, and if not, then you have to get down. Because if you're by yourself upstairs, you're never going to be able to hold it.
Karzeka will finally fall. They now have all the upstairs control, but now they have to worry about Scyther as well as Shepard down in the middle hallway.
They've been able to pinch out that pressure upstairs at a minimum here. Still have about a minute left to work with, so not doing terrible in time. You can see they've still got this good soft destruction they can work top to bottom play with, specifically coming in from their buck as well. Pinch out that pressure upstairs at a minimum here. Still have about a minute left to work with, so not doing terrible in time. You can see they've still got this...
Alright. So Scyther's trying to take a fight on red stairs. And I want to actually see, did somebody hop on this trim? No. Okay, so he turned the corner, aiming. No, not even aiming. So he turns the corner.
You can see they still got
Then someone hops on the drone. Okay, I want to see whether or not something was on it beforehand or afterwards. Really, the moment that this drone turned yellow, Scyther should have recognized that and just gone out because his position is compromised. They know he's there. Yes, it's a 3v2. However, if you're trying to take a fight on somebody that can change their head level, you don't know their exact positioning, you don't know how they're going to be holding an angle, you don't know and they know that you're coming, then you're in a very bad situation because this guy could be holding an angle through one of the banisters. You could be holding it here. He could be crouched in the middle of nowhere. He has options. So I think Scyther. So he pre-fires. Okay, that's fine. But you didn't see anyone. Get out. He then takes the fight. Empire, they really like to take fights. They're just really confident players, and he almost loses it. So really, I think that you just shouldn't have taken that second. I don't think you should have peeked the second time and should have just gone out. But it is what it is.
Buck as well. Scyther almost nearly being caught also. As Biologic starts to pressure the red stairs, which means Scyther's going to have to pull back. Now he can't really afford to take any out in the open fights. And Shepard, of course, on smoke is just not going to be attempting that. So this is really restricted.
Now vertical pressure has pushed the smoke out of the B-bomb site.
Shepard, though, still finding impact.
Okay, so Achieve tried to drop down the hatch and got killed from Shepard. I'm not sure why he elected to drop the hatch. There's 30 seconds left, which is more than enough time. And dropping that hatch is really dangerous because you may not know if somebody's in the B-bomb site holding an angle through there. You don't know if somebody's holding an angle like this. You don't know if somebody's in the hallway holding an angle. You don't know if they're holding directly, just waiting with a shotgun. So I think that was a bad drop on his part.
Trying to go into Radiant Diffuser, now going down on the likes of Pojo Man. Shepard rotating upstairs to try and play the vertical angle with that shotgun. It seems that they already do have.
So 2v2. However, both members of TSM are in the bomb site, and Smoke has made a really good call of moving up above. So this is kind of a mistake from Achieved, kind of a call from Achieved, which I disagree with, where by dropping down hatch, he gives control of the upstairs back to the defenders as there are no longer attackers there. And because of that, nobody is playing the active angles. And the moment Empire realized that, they sent Shepard up above. So that's a really good call and really good communication coming out from them. Now the problem is that Shepard has 3 gas canisters, and that's not a good thing when a plant has gone down. So I'm just going to point that out, but that was a buck hole.
Scyther does have the hot mark. Bio's already rotated outside, though. Is he aware of this rotation, or do they still think he's inside of the room? It does appear that they are ready. All that remains, Scyther does have the hot mark.
So 3v2 has turned into a 1v2 from TSM. Really, Pojo Man, you can't. I think it was Pojo anyway, the guy who planted. You can't hate on him for getting killed. Yeah, it was. You can't hate on him for getting killed from that. It was just an angle was used above him. You can argue that maybe he should have been more aware that he could have been shot from a vertical angle. However, I think this really just comes back to the Buck gave control of upstairs back to the defenders, which then messed up the, which then kind of got him killed. Now, one thing I want to point out, so this is a passive angle. So this is a passive angle. The difference between a passive and an active angle is what happens when a defender peeks it. Because when a defender peeks this angle from the hallway, they're not going to see Bio. So Bio then gets to control the situation because he's holding it passively, and he can choose when to peek it and take it as an active angle. I like passive angles. That's just me personally. However, it just comes down to you as a player, reaction time, ping, whether or not you're confident in winning the gunfight, the situation. So it really just comes down to a lot of different factors. And basically, if you have ping above 40, then hold passive. If you have ping below, then you can hold active. At least that's the way that I see it. I hate holding active angles even at even at 40 ping. But really, this is a really good way to hold this, because he doesn't have to worry about getting, because he can kind of dictate how this fight goes. Now, one thing to note is he has 3 EMPs left. That's not good.
Aware of this rotation, or do they still think he's inside of the room? It does appear that they are ready. Scyther's going to hold the door and have Shepard rotate for the diffuser. Will he be able to win out this gunfight?
Now, his position was known. However, Scyther is a 1-shot and Shepard is a 2 to 3 shot. So this is still very winnable for Bio.
If Bio sprints here,
Now, one thing I hate about this is Shepard has 3 smoke canisters. There's more than enough time. He could have thrown a smoke canister in the doorway, and then once he activates that, then hops on the diffuser, sticks it, and then Bio has to then run in through a smoke canister, gets gunned down by the Mozzie, and he's going to take a lot of damage. So I would have preferred that to happen, as well as that smoke canister would have obscured the Thatcher's vision. Now Scyther elects to throw a Nitro Cell, gets a kill. So kind of the problem with passive angles is if you let someone get too close, they can kind of surprise you and use Nitro Cells, grenades, things like that. It just comes down to the situation. However, this was a really good rebound from Empire, and it mainly just came down to the call of TSM giving upstairs control back to the defenders. If they had kept upstairs control, they probably would have won this round. So I kind of put this on achieved for dropping down the hatch. Now maybe it was a call made by his team to drop the hatch. Maybe it was just a bad call from him. I don't know. Either way, it was just, he really shouldn't have dropped the hatch. And for whatever reason he did, maybe it's a trust factor where Achieve didn't trust Bio to win the gunfight if Empire tried to take it. Maybe it was just too much communication and he thought that he needed to drop. Maybe he was just thinking, maybe he was just kill hungry. I don't know. Either way, it was a bad call.
to mark the death of Bio.
Back around the
Was allowed.
lead over your opponents.
I think there's some issues. Doesn't matter.
Team Empire.
And we're back. Alright, so with this, we move down to Bakery. So really every site on this map is viable, and I'd say it just comes down to team preference. Some teams prefer holding mining dining, some prefer reading dining, some prefer the bakery as their second defense, some prefer as their primary. It just comes down to team preference, and it's just team by team. Now with that, TSM, same lineup that they brought the first round. And this lineup is great. It can do everything they need it to. It just comes down to how effectively can TSM use it. Then Empire. Joystick is on the Jaeger again. Dan is now on the Vigil. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. So Vigil is a good operator when it comes to to wasting a bit of time to roaming, because you never know his exact positioning, and a lot of players don't like pushing someone that they don't know the exact position of, because imagine you have three angles: angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and they can be holding this onto a doorway, and it's one of those 3 angles. Well, with the Vigil active, you don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3. The moment it's gone, then you know whether or not it's 1, 2, or 3. And that turns it into just, instead of it being 3 angles, instead of it being 3 angles, it's 1 angle. So, against teams that drone a lot, that Vigil can be pretty effective. Against teams that don't drone, it's questionable. However, most teams do drone. However, how heavily they rely on the drone is team by team. Now, with that, Scyther's then on the Mozzie again to stop drones, gain information, Nitro Cell. You can't play vertically here. But you technically can. It's just not very common for you to get killed that way. Then Karzeka is on the Valkyrie for information and a Nitro Cell. Shepard's on the smoke to kill 30 seconds.
To get this third once again on your road.
Alright, so this is kind of an open defense coming out from Empire. What I mean by that is you have rotates here and here, and the moment you see a rotating bakery, that you should know that the defenders are going to be rotating all around this area. And it's going to be a fluid strategy where they're just going to be constantly taking gunfights and pressure, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to not give you bakery for free. And if you do get control of it, then they're going to go for late flanks.
That will open up the top floor. They start back up top, then go to middle.
I think it was in the Rogue versus TSM game where Rogue won it. There are two games like that on Kafe. One was in Pro League. That's the one that Rogue won, and then there was one in the U.S. Nationals where Rogue lost. And Rogue, in the one they won it in the Pro League season, they had a really good open strategy like this. That if you want to look more into it, then go watch it.
Bottom once again if they're able to get the perfect defensive side. Otherwise, TSM will be staring down the barrel of something very, very dangerous on their own map pick, which is starting off 0-6. And I don't think that's how they really wanted this one to start. And I really feel like TSM just needs to play closer together in those this one to start. Again, I really feel like TSM just needs to play closer together and they wanted this one to start. Again,
So one thing is Mazu, one of the strongest positions you can put it is right here, because it's protected from the doorway, so you can't come here and shoot it, because if it's here, then there's a chance that if you go right here, you can see it and shoot it. However, if it's located right here, the only way you can shoot it is by swinging out of the doorway to look. So this is really strong. This is a really strong positioning.
I really feel like TSM just needs to play closer together in those after those initial contact points, because as of right now it seems like Team Empire is more or less just laid back, allowing them to really tangle with their defensive players that are roaming, more like Joystick, and he's been able to get a lot of picks so far. If they continue to allow this to happen, I don't see TSM making it out of this alive.
Scyther was able to successfully grab a drone in the setup phase here, so he's going to have himself a lot more aggressive capabilities. They can put that drone in quite a few different places, actually. Right now it's on the 3rd floor, but if they wanted to swing it around back over, say, to the 1st floor, they could have, a camera right on Bakery Doorway, or another pivotal entry point here that I'm sure TSM is going to want to use. And as a result of that, that means Team Empire has a lot of control over TSM until it's dealt with.
TSM focusing.
So I think Bolo's just going for an early pick right now.
As well as you have Bolo on the zone. We've been seeing him more in a supportive flex role recently instead of a TSM focusing their sides on the mid floor, and why wouldn't you? You have achieved on Buck as well as you have Bolo on the Zofia. We've been seeing.
Alright, so Jaeger has now been droned out. However, with that drone, there's no way that the TSM can't react to it. One thing is, if you're droning, drone for your team. Don't drone just for useless information. Where getting information that, hey, Jaeger's inside of this room on the other side of the map from any member of our team that we have no way of reacting to, that's useless. That's a useless drone. It's a wasted drone. It's useless information, because the moment you get over there, it's going to be old information that your team can't react to. So you need, whenever you are droning, you need to be able to have someone react to it.
Supportive flex role recently instead of a extremely aggressive role. That's really what we've seen Merkin achieved in, but it seems like Bolo is trying to.
So I've seen 3 drones all droning the same areas, where we saw Bio drone Joystick over here in Bar. We just saw a drone pass a Chief's drone, which was thrown down. So right now, I'm not sure what the communication is going on, because everybody's droning the same stuff, and you're going to be getting the same information that, well, one of them is going to be saying, hey, Joystick's in Bar. Then you're going to be getting, don't see him, and now Buck's droning, I don't see him either. So, not the best communication coming out from TSM.
TSM worried more about the drone game now, trying to find Joystick, but they do have Dan on vigil. We've seen him play this before.
Bio and Achieved are both going to drone out Jaeger there. However, why is nobody pushing with these drones? Why is nobody there to help to start getting kills? Why is nobody there to really back up the drones? Because any information these drones is going to get is going to be 5-10 seconds old, and 5-10 seconds is a huge amount of time in Siege. So it makes it's not the best drone work coming out from TSM.
He's done a bang-up job, especially at Milan, but Joystick going to destroy
Joystick gets droned out on the 3rd floor, has now dropped down to the 1st. All of those drones were wasted.
a drone and immediately rotates. Does not want TSM to have any active information.
Merc is now peeking white stairs. There's no drones on white stairs because all of them were basically all of them were shot at this point. So, I mean, really, Joystick has done his job. He's killed half of the drone economy of TSM, and no pick has gone over for Empire, and Joystick has managed to get away. And really, the big thing here is Merc peeking like this, because he's peeking. He's peeking. He doesn't know if it's safe. He has no idea. Meaning there's no information. Nobody is on a drone saying white stairs clear. White stairs is clear. I will stay on my drone while Merc, you get down so you can hold an angle on it. And then I'm gonna get off my drone, come help you guys push, and then we go from there.
At least half of them now gone, if not more than that. So for late round here, depending on how much droning they've already been able to do downstairs, they could be going in a little bit blind here, which is always such a dangerous thing for a team on attack to do. It looks like they still have a few more at least, but they need to keep these alive here in order to get.
So there goes Dan.
Early find here. They're able to isolate out Dan on the vigil as.
I think Dan just tried to flank up brown stairs and got killed from Thatcher holding an angle.
First to bring it down to a 5v4.
I like TSM.
Achieved is face checking everything, throwing that out there.
Take here. They're isolating staircases.
Face checks it, not knowing if it's clear, then goes and applies vertical pressure, rather than working with his team and determining whether or not it is 100% clear. Because I'm not sure if Empire knows where Joystick, Scyther, or Karzeka is. Now, you can assume that Shepard's going to be on site with a smoke, how the other 3, you can't. So, right now, TSM has to work on their drone game.
Making it towards extremely hard for Team Empire to rotate. Dan trying to rotate up new stairs. Ends up getting punished by Bio over on the door. Nitro Cell rings off, but it's not going to make any contact. Bio did take a little bit of damage, but nothing fatal just yet. Only a minute left. This appears that Bio might be waiting for a claim, or he does not have one. He's already set his down, and this is where Chief starts playing Wrecking Crew, as he will be able to open up all of the train museum flooring. But again, these angles work both ways. So you see Karzeka trying to claim a life from Prep.
So, a lot of reconstruction being done at the moment by Chief in order to see down into that kitchen and hopefully isolate a few players out. But as you can see from the silhouettes, Empire doesn't really have a whole lot of presence. Ooh, that could have been dangerous. Almost the day getting caught there on the bars. It does make it down, but...
One thing to note is Achieved is throwing a grenade into an area where nobody is, which means that there's no droning going on for on-site, knowing their exact positionings of the defenders.
As you can tell, without any silhouettes down there, it's not really going to mark any impact.
Never throw leaning, kids. Never throw leaning. It messes up the trajectory, and
Isolate a few players. As you can see from the silhouettes, Empire doesn't really have a whole lot of presence. Ooh, that could have been dangerous. Almost the day getting caught there on the bars. It does make it down, but as you can tell, without any silhouettes down there, it's not really going to mark any impact, unfortunately.
never throw leaning, kids. Never throw.
Any silhouettes down there, it's not really going to mark any impact, unfortunately.
So, watch this. Achieved is throwing a grenade behind the A-bomb,
Never throw leaning, kids.
then peeks the A-bomb. So, I'm not sure what the thought process is here. Maybe he's assuming somebody's holding behind the A-bomb, and in order to deal with them, he's going to throw a grenade, forcing them off of holding an angle, where he can then punish them. However, he can just go above, shoot down, and go from there. Or he can use this hole here. So I'm not sure why he threw a grenade.
Throw while you're leaning. It messes up the trajectory, and a lot of the times you will bounce something off and almost die. Poach is going to actually start planning as the Nitro Cell goes off. Where is...
Alright, so with that, Karzeka plays vertically, gets a kill onto Achieved. It's kind of the big risk of buck, where if the floor is soft enough for you to be bucking it, it's soft enough for a Nitro Cell to blow you up. And it comes down to, it just comes down to kind of how good you are at, kind of your game sense on buck, as well as the game sense of the enemy. If the game sense of the enemy isn't there to hit the Nitro Cell, then it doesn't matter. If your game sense is good enough that you know how to rotate around through all of the vertical holes you're making so you never get Nitro Cell, that's also good. Problem is, Buck kind of overstayed his welcome, got Nitro Cell. Really just a good pick from Karzeka. Then Merc gets a joystick as he's just holding an angle. Bio then kills Scyther. I'm not sure how that kill happened exactly. And now Smokes don't hit. So Smoke has kind of... Right now Smoke has hurt his team with this smoke because he wasn't able to stop the plant. One thing to note is even if an operator is really important, like say a Mira, an Echo, a Smoke, or a Pulse, if you can't use them effectively, then you shouldn't be going them. Because if you are, it doesn't matter how good an operator is if you can't use their utility effectively. And it just comes down to the individual players. And I'm not saying that Shepard is a bad smoke and needs to get off of him. I'm just saying that at times you're going to have to make a call as to whether or not you're being effective for your team on an operator. If Joystick never frags with the Jaeger, then he should probably switch operators to someone he can, or at least somebody who can help the team composition. Or maybe give it to someone else who is having their day, like Dan, and go from there.
And it seems like TSM might be finding their first round.
Yeah, TSM really just kind of sneaking this one in as well. Pojaman is walking into Prep Kitchen. It didn't seem like Empire were able to catch it. I don't know if they were too focused on dealing with the buck upstairs or something else went wrong, but...
Oh, we got Shepard 4v1.
Shepard, it's isolated out. Karzeka surrounded in a 1v4. He's got...
So this is a bad peek from Merc. If you're ever in a post-plant situation, don't hold active angles. Hold passive angles, back up your team, figure out how they're going, like, just go off of whatever information you have. Where if you looked, you had this guy here, and I think he was holding an angle like this. So at that point, if you're here, what do you gain from peeking? Yes, technically you have a crossfire. However, if Karzeka peeks this correctly, he can see you get a kill, peek, and then get another kill. However, if you're just holding here passively, waiting for him to either get close or try and hop on the defuse, then you can react to there and it's a lot less dangerous. So really this is just a bad peek from Merc. It's one of the issues I think Merc has overall is he loves to peek, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I think why TSM can struggle at times as well as do well, is that Merc, if he can win a one-on-one gunfight, then he's going to really help TSM with his peeking. If he can't, then he's going to put them in a man down constantly.
Got less than half the defuse time left. Yes, he
And Pojo Man gets the kill. Now with that, on to the next round. So that round really just came down to, it was an oversight from Empire for allowing the plant to go down. Now, I'm not sure if they didn't have the information. I'm not sure if Smoke was in a bad place. I'm not sure if just nobody knew and the plant went down anyway. Either way, I'd say it comes down to a lack of information for Empire, and it's just something they have to fix. Yeah, that's really it. There's gonna be times where plants go down and you're not ready for it, and it's just how often does that happen. And Empire, they weren't ready for it based off of the smoke, so they ended up losing because of that. Because once the plant was down, post-plant situation, defenders have to push into their own site. Now, with that, TSM, same lineup coming out from them. Empire, same lineup they had on their first defense upstairs, and it's going to be the same hold, I assume.
One of the most one-sided rounds we've seen all game, though, and it went very heavily into the favor of Empire. There was a few very easily correctable mistakes just with the strategy TSM were employing on this attack, though. So I would expect a much more improved attack this time from TSM, but let's see if they have indeed learned their lesson.
Now, the team that does the same thing every single time is going to do the same thing for the second time.
In just the cross-angle duel that we have between Cigar and the very back of the bar itself, or if they are going to fall into that same mistake again and allow for Empire to pick up potentially another flawless round against them.
Kafe especially, you have to watch for those nitro cells, man. A lot of nitro cell play happens on this map with the amount of verticality and soft destruction Kafe now has after the update. And we saw that come out the last round. TSM did end up winning.
Joystick has done this spawn kill before. He actually does this spawn kill a lot, and I hate it, and I think it's something that teams can punish him for.
Again, you have to worry about that whenever you're on a soft floor. Pulse can ruin your entire day on this map. There's so many things that explosives can do, specifically on Kafe, that isn't as effective on other maps, but seems like TSM will be running straight to the roof this time. This is the site where Team Empire picked up their very first round. That was perfect. So hopefully TSM can at least get a body this time.
See if that is indeed going to be the case. Same openings being popped up by Bolo here, just to give them control over the red stairs hatch as well, give them the opportunity to jump into Cigar very quickly and work control from there. Still 2 minutes remaining, so we shouldn't really need to see anything hyper-aggressive just yet for TSM. Still a lot of posturing. The site's generally got a pretty straightforward pattern to its attack, and there's usually not all
Piano wall gets opened up.
on it, so things will generally play out the same way. And that means that
Nobody
TSM
playing
got a lot of
Pixel.
excess time to play with. How they use that, though, is still yet to be seen. There you go. You can
Achieved was below, holding the angle from Merc.
Christmas getting some easy control there.
Now Merc is in, so Achieved gets off the angle.
For any players to sneak up on them from the inside of the bar itself, and in a moment here, they'll probably work to open up the freezer wall.
The issue for
Nitro Cell misses.
playing right into the hand that Team Empire is dealing, and that is, hey, please push us, Christmas. If you don't push us anywhere else, then this is going to be pretty easy. They have a crossfire set up from new balcony, the one that's sitting over by the window. Then you have Dewdrop that's across. So,
Joystick, I think, at White Stairs too. Yep,
we got joysticks on white stairs. That's what I'm saying. They need to try and pressure the mid floor and get rid of Scyther, and then pressure this back stairs. Otherwise, all this is just a contested gunfight over and over again with Team Empire, especially in the likes of Karzeki. He has that mean crossfire looking over into Freezer, and then you have Dan that's sitting inside of bathroom. Frag grenade to go out. I don't think it's going to pick the man up. No, he's
So a really good nade coming out from Achieved, and I really like this coming from TSM as a whole, where this is, it's actually really good teamwork. So Merc is holding an angle on the white hallway doorway, ready for an aggressive peek. And he's holding a passive angle though, so if the defenders step into white hallway, they're free. However, if they try to actually get aggressive on this doorway, then they're going to die. Then, with that, Achieved is trying to throw a grenade through here. Now most teams will just have their buck stand here and throw it. However, Pojo Man is holding an active angle, ready for an aggressive peek coming out from the freezer area. And I really like that teamwork coming out from them, because even if somebody gets aggressive onto the buck, it's not just a free kill because he has a grenade out. So I really do like that. And one thing is, if you're ever playing just with a random group, just solo queuing, you're doing whatever, do what Pojo's doing right here. I'm not sure if he had to be told to do this. However, he's backing up his teammate. He sees a grenade is going out, so he gets into a position to hold an active angle and protect his teammates when he is throwing that grenade. This is really good teamwork coming out from TSM.
inside of bathroom. Frag grenade to go out. I don't think it's going to pick the man up. No, he's going to rotate over towards bench hard, and he's going to sit right next to the door, plays his time instead, as it looks like Achieve wants to get aggressive here, but you have to worry about that crossfire once again.
And unfortunately, without the twitch,
Ooh.
oh, that's actually Joystick finally getting a little bit over aggressive.
Okay, so everything happens. So, Joystick took a bad peek onto Bio. Yeah, that was just a bad peek. There was no reason for a Joystick to be peeking it like that. Yeah, really there isn't. Now, the big thing I want to point out here is that right now, Bio has a Claymore. Why not just put that down on the window they do runouts of just about every single time? It doesn't make sense to me. So I hate this. I absolutely hate this. And one of the kind of worrying things about TSM is Bio is the in-game leader. He's the one that makes the calls, makes the strats, but not necessarily makes the strats, but makes the calls. How do we react in a situation? He's the voice of reasoning when everything goes wrong. And it's really worrying when that guy who's supposed to be the voice of reasoning, the guy who's supposed to be your smartest player, isn't even using his utility.
Biologic able to catch it. Merc gets a second
Now,
kill as well. They do
Karzeka gets Bolo. I'm going to assume that was the long angle that he got the first time. And then Merc refrags onto Dan. That's the Valkyrie hiding inside a bathroom. So I'm guessing that Valkyrie tried to run out and got killed from Merc holding an angle. Now Merc is pushing down White Hallway. Buck is pushing down Freezer. Karzeka gets achieved inside of Freezer. So there's an angle from... Oh, God. So that one reinforcement over here where you put someone behind there, you can actually see into the freezer doorway right here, and you can see if anybody's peeking freezer based off of that angle. So it's a really strong angle, and also another reason why you put a body there. Now, the one kind of big thing I want to point out is I'm curious as to why there's not really a plant going down in this situation. Because, well, actually, it's a 5v3. Well, not 5v3, it was a... How did Bolo die? I'm trying to remember how Bolo died. Okay, so it was a 5v4. Dan goes down. So a 4v3. You know, it really, like, I'm not going to talk about the plant. It could just come down to there's not smokes. Maybe it's just TSM wants to get the kills on everyone on site beforehand because they have man advantage. I'm not sure. Oops, went too far.
From well across the way, but at the moment, TSM winning the trade, which is exactly what they need. The problem is, though, the defense is set up here.
Merc peeks down White Hallway, gets the kill onto Karzeka. This is why you have to have someone playing the white stairs.
Still strong, but Merc again bringing his team back into the fold here with some kills that were desperately needed. Now,
But Merc was ready. So this round, I think this round the big kill was joystick on white stairs. And by clearing out white stairs, it then allowed the rest of the team to push freezer, push white hallway, get the picks onto Karzeka, get all of the picks they needed to. So Bio did a really good job of getting that pick onto the Jaeger, and that's what opened up this entire round. And one thing I'm hoping that TSM recognizes is they were dominant that round. I mean, they really were. And I say dominant. It's not too dominant, but they had a much better job. They did a much better job of this than they did last round. And so if they recognize, wow, if we kill that Jaeger this easily, then that will give us a much better chance of winning. So we need to find a way to push this Jaeger out of white stairs every round. And I'm hoping that they recognize that. Anyway, with that, good round from TSM. So, reading dining comes out. I'm not sure why Empire elected to go here. Maybe they're just saying we showed the same strat twice. They're kind of finding a way to get through it, so we're going to try something. We're going to go to a different site where they also had some issues. One thing to note, however, is that Empire only won this because of misplays coming from TSM, not because they played it better. So it's a little curious that they elected to go here. And we're going to have to see whether or not Empire adjusts anything that allows them to win. Now, same lineup coming, actually no. TSM achieved is off of Buck onto Sledge. They both did the same job. They both can play vertically. They both can play horizontally. You don't need to be shooting up with the skeleton key, so Sledge is fine. And they both bring grenades and good guns. And then Empire bringing out the same lineup they had on the first round they went here.
A lot of people don't think TSM is up to snuff with Team Empire. TSM really hasn't had that testing match. That fight or flight has not kicked in for them just yet. They were at Valencia and showed pretty well there. But again, you didn't have some of the best teams in the world playing at that LAN. Now they're playing up against one of arguably the best teams in the world in the likes of Team Empire. And as of right now, there's
I'll be back in a minute. There's yelling going on downstairs. Or I apologize about that. My backyard has been invaded by a fox family, and one of them appears to enjoy the couch outside.
Stacking up pretty well. Smart adjustments, but we haven't seen Team Empire been pushed to the limit just yet. I'm going to be very interested to see if this does go the full distance and on map 3 exactly what.
One little note about Valkyrie cameras: if you want them to really remain safe, put them below like crouch height, around like the ankle level. However, put them higher than drone level. That way, drones can't see them as they go through. But you as a player probably won't see it either because it's too low. So you have to find that sweet spot where you throw it.
Will happen because, again, with the likes of these new-blooded players and the likes of Merc, I mean, Merc has not been on a Pro League team for that long. He just recently got picked up by TSM when this roster was formed originally. So, we'll have to see if he can continue on this reign, because as of right now, it seems like it's just another day in the office for him.
Attackers have located a bomb. Well, once again, a slow start here for the guys on TSM. Not trying to get too much control just yet, as they know that there's probably some decent roaming presence around specifically the 3rd floor and roaming into the 2nd floor as well. So they need to be very careful about their entry point here to make sure they don't get tripped up. As of course, as we know, Empire loves to play that aggressive game and challenge their opponents at the first step.
They've done a very good job of passive play so far, though. Usually it's Joystick that's the one that's overly aggressive whenever he smells literally anything. If he gets a hint of it, it's over, and he's going to try and get aggressive. But instead, Joystick has been biding his time on White Stairs. It's worked out pretty well for them, all except for that last round where he got a little aggressive on Bio on the window, trying to contest that upside-down rappel. But Joystick's going to try and continue his hold here on White Stairs, as they have went reading room this time around.
I think that is like a good way to play against the guys from TSM, because TSM love to take those open fights if you give it to them, and by denying that and
So there was no reason to peek there from Merc. I'm not sure why he did. Maybe I really don't know. It makes no sense to me. Twice Merc has lost the gunfight onto the Jaeger. I don't think it's actually won the gunfight onto the Jaeger whenever the Jaeger's playing that White Stairs area. So he really shouldn't be peeking it, just because it's too high risk. You're going against one of the best players, if not the best player on Empire, at least gun skill wise, and you're saying, I want to put that into a one-on-one gunfight. That's not ever a really smart thing to do. So I really don't get why that was the call made. Now, if it was a double peak between Merc and Achieved, both peaking at the same time, with one at head level, one at crouch level, that makes sense. However, that wasn't there, so really it was just an individual peak from Merc, trying to take a one-on-one fight, and he got shut down because of it.
just go for wide open peaks. It allows, as you were saying in the last round, it plays TSM right in Empire's hands. Another peak.
Thatcher gets aggressive trying to take a fight onto the Jaeger. If you want to take a fight onto someone playing these White Stairs, do it on rappel. Trying to do it on the ground level, it gives cover to whoever's playing in the White Stairs, and it's a lot more of a pain if you are the one playing on the ground. So kind of just a bad call from Bio for playing a bit too aggressively, and he gets killed because of it. And then he just peeks again, and Achieved gets killed. So really, everyone's trying to peek Jaeger on White Stairs, and the problem is that they're peeking individually, giving one-on-one gunfights, and they're not doing it as a team. Where imagine if the Thatcher had been waiting had put a claymore down on the white window, repelled up to upside down, got the team ready to peek the White Stairs, where you have one person in bathroom ready to peek crouched, and one, or even both head level actually, because of how this angle works. You can both peek head, so long as this bathroom angle doesn't swing out. But then he can work with the sledge and the IQ. By doing that, Thatcher can then open up the bottom of the window after it's been claymored, and he has a claymore to do that. Then once that happens, Jaeger's going to turn around worried about it. Then Merc or Achieved, well, I'd say Merc, should then go and start pushing the hallway on the right side. The reason you push right side is that still allows for an active angle to be held from Achieved, the sledge, inside of bathroom. So now, if Jaeger wants to peek the hallway, he's gonna have a 2-on-1 gunfight. He's not gonna win that. And then these Thatcher can come down and repel and get a kill like that. If the Jaeger decides he wants to just jump out the window, then he's gonna maybe get a kill on the Thatcher, probably hit the Claymore and die. So really, this is just TSM has all of the pieces they need to peak this. They just don't have the communication or the coordination to do it right now. And by giving one-on-one gunfights, it's a 2v5.
Down to what? Another one! He finds achieved as well down the White Hall. And what is happening to TSM? They're falling apart to a single man from Empire right now.
Have you not learned of this man's tale? You don't give him ones, folks. You don't give it to him. It doesn't matter how many bullets are in the mag. Joystick will find a way, and he'll make it happen. That's what's going to come of Merc, Achieved, and Bio. All fall to the likes of Joystick.
Okay, so Bolo then gets Karzeka. That's the Valkyrie.
Attack on instead.
I'm not sure how.
Turn around a little bit here. Joystick should probably go down in a moment as well because he's just got a sliver of HP left, and he knows it too. He is long gone. Bails away from the white.
Joystick gave up the top floor. Thing is, he got 3 kills. He can do whatever he wants.
His job is well done and dusted at this point. And with the loss of his teammate, they can't afford to take an additional loss, as that will reignite the possibility for a win on their opponents.
I believe we're going to have Joystick actually rotating up red here to try and continue to put a pin in this round, and they're both going to immediately vacate the area. Gets aggressive.
Right. So TSM realized they can't apply vertical pressure effectively with the preaching charges. They can't do it with any of the lifelines. And they're saying, how can we do this? How can we win this? And the only real option they have left is to rush site and go for fights. Where if they can just if they can just catch Empire off guard, then win 1 or 2 fights, that can change this round's outcome.
On side, it's Bolo to start things off once again. A quick shot, but they're both going to be down. Bolo can still pick.
And then Shepard gets both of them. Really, it was a good try coming out from TSM at the end there. In the end, Smoke was just in a better position, and there wasn't anything that Bolo or Pojo could do. But really, that just came down to 3 members of TSM decided that they wanted to give one-on-ones to Jaeger, and that's it. That is what lost them this round. They didn't have the coordination to do anything else. With that, Kitchen comes out, and I'll actually be back and turn on the light. And I'm back. Now, with that, TSM Merc, who has lost. What is Merc? I want to see.
Along those lines that bring those frag grenades. Those are usually his routine too that he plays.
Well, it doesn't really matter, but Merc is off of the IQ, even though Valkyrie is in play, and there's a Vigil in play, which can, Valkyrie can, IQ can see both of them, and yet he elects to say, I'm not winning my gunfights, therefore I should go off of an operator which has more utility, and onto one that can only win gunfights, basically. Now yes, Twitch can do things with her Twitch drone. However, it probably isn't going to be much. So, this was a really bad call from Merc. And I'm not sure. I really hope that it was just a bad. It doesn't matter what it is, it's a bad call. You do not take somebody who is struggling to win gunfights and give them a gunfight operator. That doesn't work out well. And it is a bad call. Anyway, with that, Bio is now off of Thatcher and onto the Dokkaebi. So I think that call was made to allow, I think it's just to help them. I'm not actually sure exactly. So Dokkaebi is great for pushing because you can block out noise. If you're smart enough, you can gain the information on where somebody's holding, and you also bring smoke grenades. So we'll just have to see how useful she is. However, I'm not really. This comes down to poor droning from TSM, where I'm under the belief that the reason you're going Dokkaebi is for information. Why aren't you just using drones to gather that information? So I don't get it, but we'll have to see just whether or not it's effective. And then Empire, same lineup they had the first time they went here.
But they haven't tried to nade out Joystick just yet because of that ADS. But you are bringing a Thatcher. I would say rotate that Thatcher over towards Christmas instead. Have somebody play that.
No, Merc is actually winning gunfights. Okay, I was wrong. He's actually doing... Okay, he's actually doing pretty well. I was wrong about that. What kills is he getting? Oh, well, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I still think that's a bad call to put him on Twitch, where, I mean, if he was like 8-2 or something, then sure, you can do whatever you want. Like, at that point, you do whatever you want. However, I don't think he's doing enough fragging-wise to warrant having a fragging operator.
Window or just the outside balcony area. Have that EMP go down on the top of White Stairs. Get rid of that ADS. And then try and frag out the man on the staircase. Because I don't think you want to try and take a gunfight with Joystick. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a zoomed sight. All he needs is to know where you are. That pre-fire really close. You don't want to give ones.
Not to him anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people you don't want to give ones to at this tournament. I think there's one on every single team that you're just like, I'd rather not peek, you know? Much rather lean on utility and just having a frag grenade explode.
And Joystick is certainly one of the strongest ones out of that. You don't want to be giving it to. Which unfortunately, that's South TSM fell into in the last round there. And it killed their chances for the most part of closing out the round. Still some hope though for them to at least tie it up and give them a relatively good half at 3-3. They need to attack and successfully get access to this kitchen once again.
Wow, guys, Joystick, good pick.
They are going to be able to catch Joystick this time. Knock him out and
So I think that's just TSM is reading into how Joystick holds there. He's held White Stairs every time, and because of that, he held there, got shot through a window. Good from TSM for getting that initial pick, because that's 30 seconds in. That's a really good pick.
It seems like a Joystick falls initially for Team Empire to TSM round, but if he's able to stay alive, then TSM just has a very, very bad time so far here on Kafe. This is going to be the last round of the offensive side for TSM. Then we switch sides. Team Empire will be over on offense. TSM will be on defense. I can definitely tell you that Team Empire has been scrimming this map. Again, only a 7-map map pool. So you have to be able to play every single one of these maps because somebody is going to be taking you to them throughout this tournament. Team Empire so far definitely seems proficient on this map. Merc marking out the phone so that Bio can rotate and get those cameras, but Bio's all the way down.
I'm curious as to why Bio is down here. I think he's exposing himself a little bit too much to any of the roamers. I think it would be better if he, once he gets that kill, just rappel up, drop Skylight, drop Red Hatch, drop New Hatch. Don't try and enter through that pillar doorway.
Inside of reading.
so we've got Biologic. He's going to work his way back upstairs probably in a sec just to grab.
Because even though he didn't get killed here, if there was a roamer, there's a good chance he would have, just because he's not droning.
The cameras real quick. He doesn't give the team a massive amount of intel, but they might get lucky with a spot or two here if they can find anything from it. And off of this one, rest of the team still trying to get into position. You can see obviously Achieve doing a little bit of reconstruction. Now that they've moved away from the buck play that they had earlier, starting to isolate out these players inside of Kitchen if they can find any. But it didn't really seem like Empire was caught by this too much. The last time they played on Kitchen, they were pretty good at avoiding this and even starting to fire back through some of these punch holes too. So they're being careful that Karzeka gonna get flushed out by a Twitch drone. He's forced into the next room. This will start to open up a little bit more execute capability for TSM.
I like Team Empire's style so far on their defense. If they do lose that initial roamer, then they all just rotate back to site and go, okay, you still have to clear out the rest of the map. You still have to try and get some pressure on site, and you're going to be on crunched time. The defense is always in favor of time, especially when it gets under that minute mark. The more you can delay, the better. And that's exactly what Team Empire is trying to bring to the table. And so far, it's been working out. You really have to be worried for TSM, though, with Dan still on the table with those vigil effects working.
Pojo gets Karzeka.
Pojo, though, to start things off here in the post-minute.
So Pojo with another pick here. Scyther trying to get aggressive to find
Scyther trying to peek. Scyther peeks, misses his shot, doesn't get the kill. They were in a 3v5. At that point, you need to get aggressive. One of the differences between Pro League and Ranked is that in Pro League, the team is going to play as a team. In ranked, they're not. And so in ranked, you're getting a lot more 1v1s, even if it's a 3v5, 2v5. And however, in this game, they're just going to play the refrag game where they're going to send everybody in at once. You get one, they kill you. You get another, they kill you. You get the third guy, they get you. And now 2 are left on them, 0 on you, you lose. Now Dan wins the gunfight on the Pojo. Actually, hold on, I want to see this fight with Dan again. So one thing to note is I'm not sure why Pojo's the entry fragger here. He dropped Hatch, but then dies to Dan, and that's Diffuser down. Bolo then Peaks wins the gunfight. That's why we're all here. That's what we want to see. So 2v4. Bolo has Diffuser. One's at a bakery, one over by the museum. Trying to figure out what they're going. Oh, okay, so I understand. Scyther's trying to flank. He flanked up the red stairs and is trying to kill anybody applying vertical pressure, while also being able to drop down Hatch into the freezer area and then go for a fight like that. And now Shepard is trying. I'm not sure. I don't like Shepard's positioning. This is kind of bad positioning for a smoke. I'm not sure how he got out here. It would make a lot more sense, I think, if we knew how he did. But he's a smoke, he's off site, and he has all 3 gas canisters remaining. Even though there's 18 seconds. And 18 seconds left, and you have all of your gas canisters, you can do a lot. I'm going down. Still 3 gas canisters for the smoke.
Can the members of Empire pull off this 2v4, somehow reaffirm their position on the site? As if not, it's going to be a tie game. TSM at 3-3 achieved. Takes the first duel against Shepard. Not able to find.
Trying to see exactly what's going on and where everyone is. Okay, so that's a smoke that Achieved is trying to hold an angle on. Misses some shots. Drop, he hears it. Scyther plays aggressively, Achieved sprinted. Probably shouldn't have sprinted, but is what it is. Gets another one, so big play coming out from Scyther. Now Shepard, 3 smoke canisters left.
Shepard with a quick peek doesn't have too much time, and Bio going to bide his time as well. As Bio's
first smoke canister used, I think.
With a quick peek doesn't have too much time, and Bio going to bide his time as well. As Bio's trying to rotate, he's going to have to rotate back through. Shepard's going to stick it, has to act quickly. Will he hop off? He will, but Bio to.
And then Bio manages to clutch it. So good try from Empire. I'm trying to figure out exactly how this turned into a 1v1. Because from a 4v2, if you can turn into a 1v1, that is big. Oh, okay, now I remember. So Achieve dies here because nobody's watching the flank from the hatch. Now, you can argue it's not something really important to watch, so it's not the biggest. It's just kind of a... It's not necessarily a mistake, it's just kind of an oversight. It is what it is, though. And with Freezer like this, you really can't. So, I mean, you can, but I'm trying to figure out exactly because it's I mean, really, it's just I can't say. I really can't say. The you can argue you want to put someone on that hatch. You can argue that there shouldn't be someone on that hatch. In the end, I think it just comes down to Achieve lost the gunfight. Then Bolo losing this fight, this is the big one, because losing that gunfight is what almost screwed over TSM. And I'm not sure why Bolo was. Actually, no, I know why. So Bolo, I think, was holding an angle on this doorway. However, with Achieve dying, he then adjusted his aim to the window, and then as he noticed Noe was jumping through, he adjusted it back. But in that amount of time, Scyther managed to peek, and Bolo's aim his crosshair wasn't where he wanted to be. So in the end, he just lost the gunfight.
Seems to all fall apart now. A double for Scyther as he continues to tack on. Has to go for the defuse. It's going to be held down by Shepard. They're going to have to try and get aggressive through this door. It's a
So defuse comes, the fake defuse comes down. Okay, fake defuse comes down. No smoke canisters are used. Neither has the nitro cell from Scyther. I think Scyther has a. Yes, Scyther still has it. So really, it just came down to both members had to peak, and with that, yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to figure out how I would handle this, how I would want. Because really, this is actually just a really good job from Empire, and I can't really hate on TSM or Empire for any of the mistakes here, because it's just Empire played it better. And if Achieved wins the gunfight, it's over. If Bolo wins the gunfight, it's over. But because both of them lost it, really, I think it's just Scyther made a play. That's really it. Scyther made a play, and it was a good try from him. I think the one critique I have from Empire is that they could have won this with utility, where if Scyther threw a nitro cell here, they win. If Shepard uses gas canisters, good chance of winning. Yeah, so I'd say Empire need to use their utility a bit better, but really, Scyther tried to make a play.
quick shots. Shepard find one. Shepard with a quick peek. Doesn't have too much time, and Bio going to box side.
A good win from TSM. Now, with that, side switch, and TSM is now in the defense, Empire on the attack. So, TSM, Bolo's now in Maestro, information with the cameras, long angles with the gun. Pojomane is on the Mozzie, I've talked about that, and then Bio is on the Bandit. That's just to deny a little, that's to kind of deny the wall a bit in case a Thatcher isn't brought. However, one is, so he's not going to be too useful because you cannot actively Bandit trick this wall here because you can get seen from the skylight if you try and do that. So you're not gonna be able to Bandit trick. So a Cade would arguably be better, but I think it just comes down to comfort. And yeah, that's really it. And then from Empire, same lineup coming out from them, except instead of an IQ, they have joystick on the Gridlock. And Gridlock is Gridlock is really strong on this map because you can just throw one down on red stairs and now your flank is covered. And you don't have to invest a body for flank watch. You then could throw one, if you wanted to, you could throw one in the white hallway right here. And from there, you now don't have to worry about a flank coming down there because you're going to hear it. You then can smoke off here and here, throw a Gridlock down the middle of there. You don't have to worry about a push, you can plant. So Gridlock is really strong on this map.
We're starting on bar to start things off all the way upstairs. For Team Empire, that defensive side was.
And I'll be back. I need to go to the restroom. Alright, so I'm back, and now this is gonna be roughly the same setup.
Good, I would say, especially with the rounds that they won.
Bathroom reinforced, freezer reinforced, red wall reinforced.
No fight back from TSM. But for TSM's round, things kind of started getting close to the chest and those post runs. There was no round where you're like, okay, obviously TSM wins this. It was a lot of fight back from Team Empire, leaning on the backbone of their roster, which is going to be your anchor players. Most of the time,
That was a great game.
but especially in that
Achieved is not.
could not find that one that they needed to end up getting that diffuser done.
Big question for me now that we move into TSM's defense is how actively are they going to try and play their own defensive setup here? And also a big, big question mark right now that's showing up for the TSM roster. All is achieved right now. Hold up.
Alright, so with that, same reinforcements, red wall, same. No reinforcement here, rotate hole there, rotate hole there. One reinforcement going down here on this half. That's just to allow you to play right here in case freezer gets open. And it becomes it's not the strongest, however, it is useful when you have to, it's useful for holding off a push coming in through freezer, because really it's just it's a threat due to positioning more than a threat due to an action. Well, not positioning. It's a threat due to the ability for something to happen, not necessarily that it's going to happen. And what I mean by that is you'd never want to push through here against this setup, because this angle combined with somebody able to swing here, you never want to push through freezer, because that's a double angle you have to take. If you try and take the fight on this guy here, you get swung on here. If you try and take the fight on this guy, you get shot from this guy. And if you recognize that, you're going to realize you cannot push.
Donut 0-4 and 6.
4 assists, man. That's when you know you're getting into the gunfights you want. You just can't finish the fight. You can't finish the fight. And it seems that Achieved hasn't been able to find it just yet. He is going to be on the Valkyrie for this round, so he'll be able to provide some intelligence, as well as Bolo is going to be... Can we just call him Alda Man at this point? Because that Alda is truly insane. He's going to be on the Maestro. Alda, 81 bullets. You guys know the meme, but...
Okay, so red wall has been electrified. Okay, so I think I understand why Bio is doing this. And by holding this angle, like with the shotgun, it's you're not going to be expecting it. And so when you repel to try and get rid of the bandit batteries on this wall, you're going to expose yourself to Bio with the shotgun, and he's going to gun you down. So if you're not ready for this, then you're going to lose a body early, and that can be really bad. Now the problem is that if you do know that this is how it's going to be held, then you can get grenaded very easily. So it's a high risk, high reward. And it's just kind of a pocket strat that you pull out at times.
Bio on the M80 as well, or M870.
Yeah, that's...
Or it could just be that Bio wasn't ready to play the bandit and instead has the M870 equipped for some reason.
definitely something, isn't it?
Oh no.
Right, Bio then just decides to jump out, gets the kill onto Karzeka, and then is onto Dan, and then is refragged by Karzeka. I'm trying to figure out whether or not that's worth it. You know, really, I can't say. Personally, I don't think it is. Yes, Thatcher's dead. However, you have ways of getting rid of the bandit charges on freezer wall. So I don't know. I just don't know, in all honesty. Bandits used all of his utility. He got a kill, and now he's dead. So now you have someone on cams. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna accept it. I don't know.
He's gonna hop outside and then get...
He got one too. He got Dan.
That's a big pick as well. That's gonna be the Thatcher. They're not gonna be able to get any of these open. Bio more than likely already has those bandits down as well. So they're gonna...
Scyther peeks Merc, loses the gunfight. Good kill from Merc. Now, one thing is, why is everyone peeking instead of just... I understand peeking the bandit to get rid of the bandit batteries. However, after that, there's no point. You don't have to be exposing yourself. Open up the wall. The defenders are going to fall back, and once they fall back, then you're good. You can go for your push. I think this was a little bit too aggressive from Scyther, and so it's a good pick from Merc, and I think this is kind of the big kill rather than the Thatcher, because with this kill, it isn't refragged instantly. And I want to actually see. No, so no refrag. At least not within like 5 seconds. So this is a really big pick for TSM because they just got a 1-for-2 trade. And if you can kill 2 of them for 1 of yours, you're gonna win. So really, this is good from TSM, and really it just comes down to Merc won the 1-on-1, and it comes down to kind of what I was talking about TSM before, where if Merc can win, really if the members of TSM can win the 1-on-1s, they can do great. If they can't, they can struggle. Where if Merc lost this gunfight, then it's a 3v4. So risk versus reward. What you should do changes on each individual player you ask. It just comes down to each player. Now, the one thing I do want to say is he has an ADS. Put that thing down if you're going to be playing aggressively. If you die, you at least have your utility helping your teammates.
Who else would you pick? You talked about him earlier. Merc's aim is truly insane. You give him the Jaeger, let him use that 416C, and he will definitely show you some crazy stuff.
So, I was wondering how aggressive we would see TSM play on their defense. I don't know if I was expecting this aggressive, because so far this has worked out great for them. A 2-for-1 exchange at the beginning of the round. You can see Karzeka is still afraid to go
Now, Merc shouldn't be playing this aggressively inside piano. He should just give it up at this point, or just fall back to the pixel, because you're in man advantage. You're on the defense, which makes the man advantage even stronger because they have to come to you, and then you can just force them into situations they don't want to be in. So really, at this point, he needs to be playing a bit more passively.
The window, because we have the active hold on the inside of Christmas. Now, they're going to pop open the red stair, or the red stairs hatch leading into Christmas. This will probably...
Merc gets Karzeka, so 1-on-1 gunfight. Merc wins it. Good kill.
Never mind. This will probably start to first back Merc.
Actually, no, that was a jump out. So good. I say good. I mean, really, Merc's gone, what, 2 kills now, so he's done his job. I kind of wish he played a bit more passively, just because jump outs, I think, are... I think they're risky just based off of claymores, people holding angles. You can miss some shots. You can mess up on the vault, and that can expose you for a second. But really, Merc made plays this round.
But apparently not. He runs out a window. What?
The joystick then tries to rappel down. You can't do that. You either get into a position where you can either hop up onto the railing and then shoot down like that, but you never rappel down. That if you try and rappel down, you're just gonna get gunned like this. So really good job from Merc here, and really this aggression just won them this round. So really good job from TSM for this round. This is a dominant round from them.
How is he stopped? Being stopped. Picks up another kill. Still going, by the way. Still alive at this point as he works his way back into garage. Shepard was only able to trade onto another player, which is not even part of this fight. Now we'll look for a few more, but no.
Then Bolo hits the pixel peak. So really good job from TSM. Merc won his gunfights, and because of that, is a really dominant round. The thing is, that's not a... I can't talk about the strategy behind that round, because it's really just TSM said, let's play aggressively inside a piano, and they won the gunfights. If they lost it, it would have been a terrible decision. If they won it, it's a great decision. It all just comes down to the outcome. Now with that, Empire, same lineup they have, I think. And TSM, Bolo's on Doc for long angles. Curious that he's elected to go Doc instead of Maestro. I personally think Maestro would be better just because you can still fight long angles. Now, yes, the Doc can heal people. However, I think it's something like, well, actually no, I don't even know what the percentage is, but most of these players have somewhere around a 40 to 50% headshot ratio. And based off of that, 40 to 50% of the time, the Doc's not going to do anything. So I kind of disagree with Doc picks all in all, unless you're really hitting your shots, or the enemy really isn't hitting theirs. just because you have something like a 40, I think I have like a 35% headshot ratio or something like that. And if you're telling me that for 1 out of every 3 times you pick someone, they're going to be useless with their gadget, then you don't really want to pick them. Why not go someone who's useful 50% of the time, 60, 70% of the time? I think that'd be a lot more beneficial than someone who's only useful. Actually, no, technically I'm doing the math wrong. Doc's technically useful 60, 70% of the time, at least against me. However, against these guys, 40, 50% headshot ratio, well, if someone's only useful, say, 50% of the time, why not bring someone who's useful 60, 70% of the time? So that I kind of disagree with the Doc pick. However, if Bolo gets 3 kills, I can't say anything. Anyway, with that, Pojoman is on smoke. You know why they go smoke. Same with Merc on the Jaeger. Achieved is on Valkyrie to play with information to play vertically. Bio is on Legion to play with information. Empire, same lineup. We talked about them.
As a result of that, we're given a massive advantage to shut up the round.
I love spending like 10 minutes the first round explaining everyone, and then after that everyone knows. It's great.
That shotgun's the most powerful in the game. So, you hop out the window, quick shot to the man rappelling to your left. Yeah, you're going to lose the gunfight.
Mining Dining Defense coming out.
That's a massive
Every reinforcement's upstairs. If you want to take below, you gotta work your way top down. If you don't, you're just gonna get shot from above, condensed on, collapsed on from above. Not always a good thing. Next thing, Bolo. I mean, you bring a bulletproof camera. Why not just bring a Maestro? You get 2 cameras. They can zap people, and they're a lot more of a pain to get rid of. And you have a better gun.
Camera's helping out a lot outside, being able to identify the rappel. Bio coming up huge, but Bio was definitely not the one that we're going to be talking about that last round. It's going to be Merc and how he was able to get aggressive onto Christmas, and that really was off the back of Biologic's efforts. They didn't have the crossfire that they needed. All they had were the ones on the windows, which allowed Merc to hop from the window that he's currently spawn killing from. But again, aggressive plays are not meant to be, dumb. They're calculated. That's exactly what Merc is bringing to the table right now. Just because it is aggressive does not mean that it's going to be something wrong. This also a fantastic angle that's going to be held by Merc. You can actually see the window from a long angle, but if you rappel to that initial floor where you see all the air vent units, he can actually shoot them as they're rappelling up, and it makes it very, very difficult. Buck's going to get aggressive on the window. Scyther might allocate for a grenade, but instead he's going to hop up the minibar, and Merc will vacate the area.
We've got 2 more players on the second floor as well.
One thing I want to say is, before this round, there was a jump out from a bandit with a shotgun. So why you would be exposing yourself to a window trying to take a fight on that possibility, I don't get. I think it was as bad from Scyther for trying that, and it's something where you literally just got, like, you had someone gunned down from their last round. Why not hold up for an extra 5-10 seconds, let someone send their drone down the red hatch, go through the doorway into Cigar, go through the drone hole of Cigar that leads directly to where you're trying to peek, and then go after that information. It takes an extra 5-10 seconds, a lot safer. Also, Merc, he's taking aggressive fights 30 seconds in with 2 ADSs.
The mess around with these guys, Achieve specifically right by the window on the Valkyrie right now, looking to try something to hop out towards that balcony potentially too. Actually, never mind. Looking at this now, it's red stairs, in fact. Ready to go with the Nitro Cell when someone hops in.
Be quite dangerous and definitely a way to say hello. Nitro Cell there to start things off. But slow tidings right now for Team Empires. They're trying to find any scrap of information. Everything they found so far has just been Merc inside of Christmas, and all he did was show face and immediately vacate the area. We will finally have some...
One thing is, Merc has been playing incredibly aggressively inside of this room, and unless you're 100% certain that he's not going to swing out from the pixel peak, don't be wiggling. Don't wiggle. Also, one thing to note is the wall has not been opened yet. About halfway into the round, even though all that's needed for this is to chunk a Thatcher, drop Thermite, put your charge on the wall, and make it go boom. Yes, Valkyrie was playing below with a Nitro Cell, however, she got droned out and ran away.
Christmas control is going to be pretty easily taken, this time by the guys from Empire, since we have moved down a level. They don't need to immediately deny that presence, but they still want to fight for it, as that top-down control is still very important for the defensive setup due to the amount.
And 2 Thermite charges are being used on the freezer and bathroom walls. Now, I understand the freezer one. That makes sense. Perfectly makes sense. The bathroom one doesn't really, though. So yes, if they're holding inside a bathroom, however, if you know nobody's holding inside a bathroom, why would you open it up? It doesn't make much sense to me. Because if you drone it out and it's clear, you can just walk in. And you can walk into the freezer hole you just made. So I don't get it. I think that's a waste of a thermite charge, and I think that if it was used on the red wall, it would make the push a lot quicker just because that's the normal push you go for.
Presence it will give the attackers. Bolo though.
My Bolo gets Scyther, so Buck peeks, loses the gunfight.
Strike back, this time on the dock instead of the Maestro due to the fact that he needs to remain slightly more mobile than before. So he goes on to him, allows for him to find the early pick onto the Buck, which is actually going to destroy quite a bit of that soft destruction potential. They're gonna
So one thing is this is something that you should try to incorporate into your actual play style. Merc, he has changed his head level by jumping up onto here. So if anybody tries to peek this hallway, they have to worry about getting shot from below down the white stairs, as well as a head level up high where Merc is right now, and that's an uncommon head level, so you're not used to having your crosshairs exactly where Merc's head is, which gives Merc a benefit because he knows where your head level is going to be. This is actually this is really strong when it comes to winning gunfights, because if the enemy is trying to shoot you in the foot, they're going to be doing a lot less damage than if they're shooting you in the chest because you jumped up. Jump out from Bio, and Dan kills Pojo. I'm not sure how Pojo died. That's just smoke. That's a really big kill. I'm also not sure why Bio elected to jump out. They had man advantage, and yes, somebody is on the window. However, just because someone's on a window applying some pressure doesn't mean you have to do a jump out to try and get them off of it. So I think it just came down to a bad call from Bio, and it really comes down to, does it work or does it not work? And it didn't work, so I say it's a bad one. If it works, then I'd say great. Actually, no, with this one I would say it's not great just because there could be a Claymore under the window. So you jump out, you shoot Claymore, get shot from joystick, you shoot joystick, you hit the Claymore, you die. Either way you die. I'm curious how Pojo died though. Joystick gets a Merc. Okay, so Dan was just outside the windows. I think either Smoke was rotating, got caught off, or Smoke tried to peek and lost the gunfight. I mean, yeah, either way, not the best either way, but is what it is.
Yeah, rotates up White Stairs, able to find Merc as he was looking down White Hall instead. Dan,
give it up, Merc. No, damn it. So, really good rebound from Empire ever since they lost the first body. Yeah, really just good rebound from Empire. They won their gunfights, and I can't tell you exactly what should or shouldn't have happened because I couldn't see it.
Down by Achieve. Bolo needs to be able to rotate back down the stairs safely. It's only achieved on site right now as they're trying to get some information on Bolo. They will find him.
Bolo is still upstairs, which is actually really... That's actually interesting. Anyway, smart call from Bolo. Really smart. I'm alone upstairs. I can't hold it. I need to drop down. So good call from him. Yeah, really that's it.
Area, though, rotating through reading to continue to try and play out his life. They do have angles to try and find him, but nothing for the reading room. So that will
Thermite has diffuser, but is upstairs looking for picks. Thermite shouldn't be looking for picks right now. He should be trying to... Ooh, he has no dynamite. Okay, so at this point he has no dynamite. Right now, Empire has to figure out how they're gonna push this.
So guys from Empire still looking for entry angles here, even though it's
And that hatch isn't opened, but nobody's close enough to open up. Oh no.
Start to become a little bit of an issue here now for Empire is the lack of time needed in order to execute properly. Flash goes into the dining room. They'll hop in, take control of the train yard.
So Achieve was holding an angle, lost the gunfight, just a nice shot from Shepard. Shepard won the gunfight.
Move their way forward. A nice opening pick here from Shepard to find Achieve. Now all the pressure goes to Bolo himself. He'll take the duel against his opponent from the other side here, but ultimately...
And Bolo loses the fight. So I can't tell you much about this round just because I can't. I couldn't see exactly what happened. What I think happened was the smoke died because he overexposed himself on a rotate. Then Merc died because he peeked and lost the gunfight. Bio tried to do a jump out, didn't work, got killed. And those three deaths kind of sealed the. Well, didn't seal it, but it made it a lot harder for TSM to win. But I couldn't see much about that round. Anyway, reading dining coming out, TSM. Bio is off for the Legion onto a Mozzie. And then Empire is same lineup.
They are also tied 4-4 in their match on Clubhouse, and that once again is Rogue going up against Team Secret over on our Bravo stream.
Well, what do you know? We have Joystick top fragging Team Empire. Wouldn't you? Would you not believe it?
That's, yeah,
Crazy. Never would have guessed it.
big surprise.
Yeah, big surprises here. Well, TSM now going to be going back to the mid floor here, but instead they're going to be going to.
So, to hold reading dining, you have to hold upstairs. It's the way the site works, and it's how it's going to be played out. So it's roughly the same lineup, same setup you have for holding upstairs, and is now used. Yeah, that's really it's the same rough setup.
Slash dining, which is a newer site here on Kafe. Works out pretty well, especially with the upstairs. This upstairs is definitely a pinnacle of all of these mid-floor sites. You want to be able to hold down the verticality, otherwise you're immediately going to get punished. Team Empire bringing plenty of soft destruction, be able to handle that. But what we saw before was the Merc and Bolo show upstairs, and it worked out pretty well for the most part until Team Empire was able to get their footing on that mid-floor. Eventually, Joystick rotates up White Stairs, puts a nail in the coffin of Merc, and really spells disaster for the rest of the round for TSM. They really have to be worried about that route, especially that they're holding the mid-floor, especially with this site in particular. If you allow that rotation up White, there's something going wrong with your setup. You should have information, or at least have somebody with eyes on that White staircase.
TSM also with some quick adjustments here too. They realized the aggression might have been overplayed by a slight amount going into the second round there. Obviously,
or at least have somebody with eyes on that White staircase.
TSM also with some quick adjustments here too. They realized the aggression might have been overplayed by a slight amount going into the second round there. Obviously, we saw a lot of picks specifically coming in, if I remember correctly, from Shepard. Back on the gridlock in the last round, or Joystick it might have been as well. So as a result of that, they've now pulled back the aggression slightly. They're not trying to directly peek the opening again, if I remember correctly, from Shepard. Back on the
I want to know who hit this window, because I can't tell based off of this.
gridlock in the last round, or Joystick it might have been as well. So as a result
I think that might have been the smoke.
of that, they've now pulled back the aggression slightly. They're not trying to directly peek
No, actually, I don't know.
the opening window
I can't say.
like that. They are still trying to contest some pretty
No, it was Bio. Okay.
against Empire's.
Okay, this is really dumb from Bio for doing this. So, multiple reasons. Reason number one, he hasn't used all of his pest launchers. Reason number one, hitting this window, there's probably going to be someone holding it. They're going to be ready for a run out, they're going to be ready for the aggression. TSM has been playing aggressively, so Empire will read into that and they will get ready for that aggression. Reason number two, he's used one of his 3 pest launchers. Why are you bringing Mozzie if you're just going to keep the pest launchers in your pocket? Why not put them down somewhere? Why not put them down in the middle of a hallway? Why not put them down in the windows they're throwing drones into? You can go. This is a really bad call from the Mozzie for keeping those in his pocket and then trying to play aggressively. Next, you have a nitro cell. You can have a pre-placed nitro cell, or just throw it up, and then with whatever information you have, you can get a kill onto Empire without having to overexpose yourself. So right now, Mozzie's playing way too aggressively.
Executes. They definitely still want those early kills. They're just not being as proactive in pursuing them as they were in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, they do still have quite a few people in Rome or just trying to contest Team Empire even gaining access to the building. They do have Christmas control right now, but they're taking things slow and steady, getting a drone in relatively every square inch of this upstairs. We do still have 1 body remaining upstairs. I believe it's in bathroom. Yes, it's going to be Merc inside of the upstairs bathroom. He does have support from the likes of Bio on White Stairs, who has rotated recently. Gets aggressive.
So Merc gets aggressive. He's an aggressive player. However, I think this is kind of the reason why TSM can struggle at times. there's no reason for him to get aggressive there. If you have,
Body remaining upstairs.
think about it like this. So Bio's on white stairs.
It's going to be Merc.
So you have someone on white stairs, and now you have someone inside the bathroom. So right now, you both can be holding angles on the doorway. So if anyone peeks you, get a kill. You do not have to play aggressively. So I don't see why he's risking getting shot and overexposing himself here. Now, yes,
Support.
you're probably not going to die from this little pre-fire. But the thing is, the word is probably, not that you're not going to die. So why risk it if half the round is gone and all you have to do to help your team win is sit still?
Aggressive. Stun grenades coming through now. They do have one of those pests on the door as well, so no drone's going to be able to come through, but Merc will be able to rotate safely. Spolo is still playing new Valkyrie.
So starting to adjust. Start to play a little bit more.
Merc peeks, trying to pre-fire. I don't see why. Wall is opened, just hold and wait for them to come to you. If they have to push white stairs, you have a crossfire. If they try and push through freezer, you have a crossfire with Bolo. If they try and push Bolo, you have a crossfire with the Mozzie and the Doc. If you try, well, not the Mozzie, the Jaeger and the Doc. If they try, yeah. So you can react to a lot of things if you just don't peek. And it's going to take more time for them to come to you, and they're going to be in worse positions than you are when they do.
More passive here at very minimum. Give them a feign. There might still be this aggressive setup somewhere upstairs, and you can tell. I mean, Empire is very careful with how they're proceeding here. They're still very worried about someone trying to run out against them.
Look at all these drones. If only there was a Mozzie in play.
Or try some things you can see right now. A lot of active droning presence having to be coming in from Empire in order to avert those fears on top of things like.
So, minute left. I'm not sure why everyone's speaking. So, I don't see a reason why when all you have to do is hold angles.
Gridlock setups to try and restrict players like Bolo here on the.
Bolo, here we go. Bolo peeks and gets shut down. And that is the big kryptonite of TSM as a whole. They peek, 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 and that can get them killed. Bolo didn't have a reason to peek that. What's he going to gain? He can hold an angle on freezer and then just wait. And if he dies, he dies, but he wastes another 10-15 seconds. He can possibly get a kill, but there's no reason to peek.
Balcony, it'll force him into the open. Right into Scyther's waiting arms, who will finally get the first kill of the round with just under a minute left. Merc, though, a nice close angle to trade this.
Merc gets one, instantly refragged. So, right now, Merc gets aggressive, and I don't see why. So think about it like this: you just lost your Doc, meaning you're going to be pushed from the bar area, and you have no cover over in bar. Now, if you put someone on white stairs, and you put Merc, he can take the position of Bolo in bar. Well, not in bar, but near that bar area, near where Bolo is holding. It's not going to be as good, but it can still delay, still waste time. However, with Merc dying here, yes, he gets a kill. However, it's onto a Thatcher, which, I mean, the utility is gone, but it's a 1-for-1 trade when you're already a man down. So, why not wait? Help your team, because if Merc holds that bar area, and I say bar, it's wherever Bolo was holding, I can't remember, I don't know the name of it, but if Merc is holding that angle, well, not necessarily that angle, but holding that general area, while the Mozzie continuously holds the white stairs, then Empire still cannot effectively push that without risking taking gunfights, and that can help TSM because the attackers have to come to them. And when they come to them, they're not going to have cover. They're not going to have concealment. They're going to be exposing themselves to whatever angles that the defenders dictate. So why not just sit still and hold an angle?
Got some problems though, waiting behind the piano. He fails to account for it. Shepard trades him right back out, and that opens up a downstairs push here for at least some of the members of Empire.
Now, good kill from Achieve coming out. Bad from Joystick for not recognizing this angle.
Stealing away another one as he finds Joystick.
Good kill from Bio. Here's the Nitro Cells being used.
Sent flying by a Nitro Cell from Biologic.
Always have to worry about those explosives from underneath. 27 seconds left, and Team Empire trying to pick up the pieces. The only Karzeka and Shepard as they're still trying to establish vertical angles. Clears out the laundry room.
20 seconds.
Just yet. They have to try and find some presence on site, but Pojo Man's still alive. All those toxic babes are
15 seconds probably shouldn't be applying vertical pressure.
Still online. Still plenty of utility to worry about as the Chiefs
Bad peek from Achieved here. So he was holding an angle that was a hard shot for Thermite to hit, then swung out and exposed himself.
alive.
Where if we
All those
watch,
babes are still online. Still
not exposing himself that much, yes, there's a little bit,
plenty of utility to worry about as the Chiefs
entire body is out. He had no reason to swing there. He can wait to listen for a drop. He can wait for the plant to go down and collapse. He can just sit still and do nothing. And by doing that, he's still going to help his team win. However, now, taking it from, I think, a 4v3, and, well, it was a 3v4 for TSM, and they turned that to a 3v2, and now Achieve kind of threw that man advantage away and turned to a 2v2. Now, yes, there's 10 seconds left. However, why would you... That was kind of just throwing away your life. I mean, that's all it was.
continue to try and
There are times where just sitting still will win you a round, and taking a fight will lose it.
to claim his life though. Only 6 seconds remain as a toxic
Smokes come out. Smokes come out in the doorway. Empire says we can't push through there. Problem is that's the only way they can push with the time, and they lose a round based off of that.
They have to rotate all the way around. They're not going to have enough time. And on that note,
Now,
it will be
here's the interesting thing. Imagine if Bolo and Merc never got aggressive, and Achieved as well. Imagine if none of them got aggressive. But really, it's Bolo and Merc. If those two never got aggressive, they waste more time. So the time which Empire is already struggling with, they would struggle even more so long as TSM decides, I'm just not going to touch my keyboard. That's it. And so it's kind of something that TSM I think has to work on. They have to work on sitting still. And yeah, really that's it.
TSM once again taking the lead.
2 more rounds away.
I'm trying to remember. Hold on, I want to check something. I'm just curious where Merc came from. Oh, okay, Organized Chaos. I remember them. Well, I kind of remember them. Okay. Anyway, with that, I will be back in a second. I gotta go pee. Alright, thank you. I'm back.
Away now from closing out the opening map in their own map pick here, starting to look a lot more confident on the defense, and on top of that, a lot more of their strategies for the defense here tend to be panning out much better for them.
I will say this, don't get as antsy on defense. You saw Bolo overpeaking drones with
Alright, so with this,
do have that MP5 with the
it is a something defense, I'm not sure.
good aim like Bolo, but said he falls doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
We achieved 2 and 9. That is not good. Anyway, with that, upstairs defense coming out. TSM, Bola. Is this the same lineup? I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. You see it. You know why they're being brought. Team Empire, same lineup. It's Empire. They do the same thing. I don't think they even use 6 pick at this point because everyone knows they're bringing.
It's being nitpicky, but that's okay.
So biologically, Logic, by the way, on TSM has been cleaning up shop this game, especially since they've swapped over to the defensive side. We've seen a lot more players start to kick it up as well. It's increased his own confidence, but he himself just crossing over the 10 frag mark recently, leading the charge by quite a bit.
He's been a very big talking point as for TSM as well, because during the online phases, Bio hasn't been the most flashy player. You know, he's been more of the, okay, we gotta...
The point of this, these kill holes at the bottom is to allow a nitro cell to be thrown up from the floor right here. Actually, why am I doing that? Just do that. You can throw it from the floor below. You have to open up with a shotgun, yes, however they're going to do that later. But that's just why it's there.
grind this out. I can get some impact frags, but nothing really else has been coming from this man.
I think he's a really consistent player in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. He's consistent, but he's
Here we
not
go.
the person you lean on to go, okay, you're going to be the one that gets every single frag. As of right now, it seems like...
That is to kill the thermite when he's putting his thermite charge down. Worst case scenario, the C4 misses and it doesn't do anything. Best case scenario, you kill a thermite and the thermite charge.
Definitely has it on...
That is a low risk, high reward.
Again, it's a best of 3. They don't just win one map and they're done. We're to the major, Blue. We're to the major. Everything that you guys are seeing today is going to be a best of 3. So, with that being said, we're going to jump straight into round 10. Team Empire has not been able to gain free access to the upstairs so far. I'm going to say it's going to continue here, as we're more than likely going to see Merc trying to get aggressive.
Besides this, of course, we've got Karzeka with the window getting open. He's trying to check all the extremities of it. They're sick. Like I said before, they're still worried about that aggressive roaming presence from TSM right at the window. That was a problem for them in the opening round here.
Merc is droned.
Quite a bit because Empire countered it out pretty much
Don't peek
immediately.
this. He peeks. So like this, Karzeka is literally holding an angle. So right now, Merc is just trying to peek something for that's being held, and that's just dumb. I mean, yes, the chance of Karzeka hitting this shot is low because of how Merc is peeking. However, Karzeka can hit this shot at times, so this is not a good peek coming out from Merc.
But even so, they're still keeping some aggressive presence, as you can see at the door there leading into Christmas. They're going to try to see if they can get some early picks, just on slightly less aggressive angles than they'd been using the last time this site was played, where they were pretty much directly inside of Christmas, trying to contest them from the second they leaked in the window.
You have Christmas access right now, but you really have to worry about that white hall. We've seen how much contention that has had throughout the map. And if you guys are, again, newer to Rainbow Six Siege or the competitive scene, or just really haven't seen Kafe played just yet, this is more or less the crux of this entire map. It's that white staircase as well as that white hallway. For gaining access to the upstairs, you always have to worry about it. Mark going to continue to try and bide his time. As quick peek here from Merc as well.
This is really dumb peeking this. Yes, he almost hits his shot, however, peek, 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 peek. All he's doing is overexposing himself to an angle he doesn't have to. Nearly 2 minutes have gone by, and not a single frag, so why not just sit in freezer, wait for them to push, and establish a crossfire with your team?
Oh, very close. As he continues to try and contest the drop from Skylight, but it's going to be Shepard to actually fall initially. He has been downed and quickly...
So Achieve gets Shepard with the Nitro Cell. Really, that's just a good setup coming out from TSM, and Empire didn't see it. Maybe they didn't react to it. Maybe they weren't ready for it. I don't know. Maybe bad communication. Doesn't matter. Either way, Thermite is now dead, and Freezer is still reinforced, which is a very big. That's a very big thing, because now with Freezers staying reinforced, that makes it so that the attackers have to push through doorways and hallways in order to take the site, which is never a good thing. And by holding on to Freezer, you can now have that as kind of a I want to say a rally point. I don't think that's the right wording for it, but you can kind of play around there, where this is a very strong position, because if the attackers try and push from the new hatch area and that balcony, then Jaeger can establish a crossfire and stop the plant. If they try and push through the bathroom, then Jaeger can deal with that. White stairs, same thing. So right now Jaeger's in a really strong position if he can just not peek anything and just sit here.
Picked up by Achieve with the Nitro Cell. That's going to be a massive pick. They did not recognize out that mid-floor. And once again, you have to worry about this. Even at this level, you see people not worrying about that mid-floor, and it gets them punished.
So another player down, however, that's their hard breach as well, which is going to be really bad news here if they weren't able to get open.
I want to see something.
People not worrying about that mid-floor,
Okay, so one thing is Achieved has used his Nitro Cell. I'd kind of like it if he came back to site because he doesn't really have a way of playing vertically effectively anymore, and he got a kill. So why not stack up on site 5v4 there? If anyone dies, you can take their spot, and it kind of alleviates some of the pressure because you can deal with only a few angles. Now, yes, he's still being helpful for the team for a new hatch push. However, I think I'd prefer it if he just went back to site.
That's their hard breach as well, which is going to be really bad news here if they weren't able to get open the fridge wall that they needed in order to successfully push themselves into the site. Scyther, he's going to be able to find one of these Valkyrie cams, but now this is the problem. They don't have an easy path into the freezes. They have to walk out. There's the whole
Okay, Chief from below gets a kill. Good kill.
right back, start finding more picks.
Refrag from Joystick. Dan gets bio. Okay, so Dan just won the fight as he came up the stairs. Joystick, I'm not sure if he read what Achieved was doing. I'm not sure exactly how he got the kill. I mean, we can see it, but I'm not sure what the thought process was. Either way, 3v3 now. Merc gets the kill onto Dan. No. Merc gets Karzeka. Oh. Joystick 1v3 has to push through smokes, barbed wire. So you're not, Joystick's not going to win this, and this is why I stress utility usage. You can take one of the best gunfighters in this game at the Pro League level, and so long as you can use your utility to put him in such a bad position, you can win the fight on him, and you don't have to use your gun. What do? You kind of do, but it's going to be a lot harder for him to win the fight.
Meanwhile, the rest of TSM can set up at the other side of Christmas and the White Hall in order to stop any chance of this. Now, the third smoke grenade does get countered, but regardless,
it's over. So, this round came down to an early pick from Achieved, and that was a really good pick to get at the beginning because that just screwed Empire over. They rebound a little bit, however, the damage was done, and by forcing the attackers to just walk up staircases, come through doorways, that hurt them. And so that was a really big pick that came out from Achieved.
Set up at this point from TSM, an easy closeout for them as they put themselves on map point.
Again, was the only operator. Actually, he had round. He came up massive.
So, Bakery Defense coming out for TSM. I don't think they've actually held here yet. I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. No, they went upstairs, mining, reading, upstairs, and now they're here. Anyway, with that, Empire, Dan is off of Thatcher and onto IQ. That is actually really going to hurt Empire, I think, because there's a mute and bandit in play to stop drones, stop walls from getting opened up, and with that, IQ's gonna be able to look at them. So that was a bad call to get Dan onto the IQ. Now, I personally think it'd be better if they took Scyther, or take either Scyther or Karzeka. Probably Scyther would be the better one, off of the Buck and onto the IQ instead. That way and then put Karzeka with breaching charges. You can then apply vertical pressure with Joystick's shotgun, which is terrible at doing it, but can still do it. You can do it with his shotgun, Karzeka's breaching charges, and you can still, as well as possibly IQ's breaching charges, so you have the vertical pressure. You then can get rid of any bandit or mute jammers, and then you can also hunt for Valkyrie cameras, as well as the Vigil. As well as with the Zofia in play, you can still get rid of the Maestro cameras.
Again, guys, it does not matter how many kills you get. It just matters that the kills that you do.
So I understand the purpose of reinforcing this is to stop the angle like this. However, I don't like that. And the reasoning I don't like that is, as an attacker, you can recognize, oh, this angle's cut off. Dang. If only there was a doorway, I could just go right through and then establish the same angle. Oh, look at this, there's a doorway. So I kind of think these are two wasted reinforcements. I think those need to go somewhere else. If the attackers really want to hold this hallway, they're gonna hold that hallway.
Do get are important.
He's playing an aggressive role anyway at the moment, so you kind of expect it to be a little bit more hit or miss with his kills, especially from the defensive side now. With the Valkyrie utility being added into it, and a lot of these cameras actually going relatively undiscovered until late round. We saw one that was on the inside of the bar itself that didn't end up getting caught, and may have led to quite a bit of slowdown on Empire's part. Things like that as well are also added impact from this player that obviously you're not going to see on something like the scoreboard. But here we go, folks, into what could be the very final round of this opening map. Mind you, once again, it is a best-of-3 series, so it won't end right here. But time to see now if TSM can close it out here and take a 1-0 lead.
Just an update from our Bravo stream. Once again, if you guys want to be watching that, it's Team Secret versus Rogue right now. Team Secret in the lead 6-4 on Clubhouse as we have the exact same scoreline over.
Are we watching the same game?
Yeah, apparently a mirror match that's going on right now, but it is going to be Team Secret in the lead. Again, a lot of people, I guess, did not watch the Vegas Minor Blue. They're not aware of Farrell and what he can do. Truly incredible player. But right now, 6-4 over there, and once again, Rogue faltering right now to the likes of Team Secret. But it seems like the Americans will be picking things up over on our side of things, where TSM is currently in the lead up against the Russian machine and might have this first round.
Oh, what?
Where was that?
So good kill from Achieved. Now here's the thing, Achieved is having a really bad day. He's missing his shots, he's not winning the gunfights. He was, I think, at one point like 2-9 or something. And this is how you get around that. You just have pre-placed nitro cells. You use your utility, you use the Valkyrie cameras. You say, hey man, can you stand on my Valkyrie camera? And can you just tell me when I can make it go boom? And that got him a kill right there. No, you could take the worst player in the game and you can just say, yeah, hit this button when I tell you to. And bam, you get a kill. That is what you do when you're having a bad day. That gets you kills, that you can throw the enemy off, you can get important kills. And so really just a good from Achieve for recognizing that. Now, next thing is good from Achieve for working with his teammate, having the communication to get that kill.
TSM is currently in the lead up against the Russian.
Bad from Achieve for going for this fight. There's no reason for it.
Oh, what? Where was that?
I mean, he had no reason to go for that fight. He took it, he lost it. He got a kill, established man advantage, then threw it away.
Nitro cell. What in the hell was that? That was okay. All right. Well,
That was like 800 IQ with that one right there.
Immediate rotation as well by the likes of Murky. Is going to be playing the Vigil this time around, recognizing how the Team Empire has done quite a good job.
So, the reason why the nitro cell is put here. One, if you repel into the window, which Karzeka has been doing a large amount of, you can get a kill. If you open up the wall and walk in, you also can get a kill. So this is a very strong nitro cell.
Oh, he had the Nitro cell placed over on Minibar. That is
Nice. I mean, that's a crazy early
17 million IQ. Just recognized how this man will repel through this window and get exploded.
Like, our guy just got a pre-placed nitro cell.
Somebody was on camera. They had a Valkyrie camera inside of that room, and he blew it up right as he got the information that someone swung in. So amazing play by TSM to set that up, recognizing now that someone is more than likely going to swing from Minibar. Because again, Bennett Chief doesn't have that nitro cell on his person, so it makes it a lot harder to try and blow anybody.
Dan is face checking, no joining going on there.
Swings through that window, then that's a lost cause. So high risk, high reward.
Yep. Unfortunately, in this case, the trade does happen a second later due to the timing of it. Joysticker ends up running into the window, and at that point in time, Achieve pretty much not ready to take another fight, so he ends up going down to it. We're still in an even battle as a result of that. And as you can see, we've already got Empire with full control over the train museum, and by that, extension into the mining room as well, giving them quite a bit of top-to-floor play. It'll clear out quite a bit of the kitchen and start to open up execute possibility.
Dan kills Merc. Yeah, really, Dan wins the gunfight. You can argue whether or not Merc should have taken it. Doesn't really matter, though.
There's that over-aggressive tendency, though, where it's going to start to bite back against TSM's favor. Merc gets caught lurking there by Dan, and now the advantage shifts into the Russians' court.
I feel like especially following into this next round that the roam game by TSM might be a little bit better on these post-minute times. or they're going to try and rotate just a little bit slower, recognizing now that Team Empire are not afraid to run this all the way down. A newer effect has been added to those breaching charges as well. If you're directly under them when they explode, they
Joystick gets
just
bio.
a little bit in a very weird fashion, but Joystick will continue to tack on for Team Empire as TSM seems to be falling apart. It's going to be Bolo to try and find some pressure.
Ooh, Bolo gets a kill, and that's a big one because that's on the Shepherd, the Thermite, who had the diffuser.
But Scyther to find Bolo.
1v4, however, it's a 1v3. Shepherd's downed.
All left up to Pojo Man with that MP7, not rocking the shotgun this time on Bandit. Diffuser will get picked up. So we'll be able to recognize that one from behind the bar. Does not have the Nitro Cell to try and pick up anything. Just going to play for the cross and listen.
Ooh. So, Scyther hears, or maybe just throws a grenade. Doesn't really matter. Either way, he gets the kill.
It's going to be Scyther with
So, really, at the end of this, it just came down to Empire won the gunfights. And that's really it. Really, I can't say much else about it, as I mean, if I had a top-down view, I could probably tell you a bit more. However, really at the end, that's all it came down to, where Bolo won the gunfight into Shepherd, but didn't get the kill, then got traded. Then Bio lost the gunfight, he went down. Merc lost the gunfight, went down. Achieved kind of threw away his life, but he got a kill, so you can argue. Either way, good push from Empire. Wait, reading mining coming out. So TSM Bolo's on dock again. I've talked about that. Kind of wish a Maestro instead. I think it brings a bit more utility than, you know, we've talked about everyone here. So yeah, we've talked about everyone here. Don't really have to say much.
The teeter-totter of their rounds, where if they can get that early aggression and shut down that Christmas take, then TSM walks away with the round. That time they tried to shut it down with a pre-placed Nitro Cell, but things still fell apart. And again, I don't like to be playing the blame game, but Merc, slow things down a little bit, just a touch. You're now recognizing out that, okay, Team Empire, slow and steady wins the race for them. It's not as bad as we've seen Vitality before, where it's literally they'll attack in the last 15 seconds every single time, but they still like to bide their time, find as much information as possible, and then make the play. You're just allowing them to knock down one more chess piece before they do it.
Especially with consideration to the fact that they've already been able to force Empire to run out of time on one other round. Like, now to be fair to Merc, this is a mistake he hasn't made that often. I think that's really like the only time he's truly overextended himself so far in this half, but it is a mistake that I've seen in the past from him as well, so it's something that we do need to be worried about when it comes to TSM's long-term game here. Great Valkyrie cam on the outside. Taking a look here as well. Some of the action that's been going on. Back over on our other stream where we just saw a little bit of spoiler warning, so feel free to mute the stream for the next couple seconds if you don't want to hear this, but Team Secret just managed to win map number 1 against Rogue 7-4, so they will take the lead in that series.
I'll give you one guess who had the most kills on Team Secret.
I mean, I can see it, so.
Yeah, it's Feral.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's not really much of a question.
If you guys were not aware of what Feral can do and did not watch the Vegas Minor, he's a truly incredible player. That's how they ended up getting to this tournament as well, was winning the Vegas Minor up against the Stream at the time, or LFO now, now Vodafone Giants. They went through quite a transition phase in the last handful of months.
They were still a Stream at that event, weren't they?
Yes, they were. They were a Stream, and immediately after that they were LFO, and now they're Vodafone Giants.
Back to this game for just a moment here. We've got Dan starting things.
Achieve tries for a run out, misses his shots, I think, loses the gunfight. You can argue whether or not he should have done it. It just comes down really to whether or not you get the kill. If you get the kill, yes. If you don't, then no. Yeah, really, I think that Achieved really shouldn't have, just because you it just comes down to it's my opinion. I don't think that he should have. I don't think you ever really should do runouts unless you're absolutely certain you can get a kill. And by that, I mean the guy's on a drone, his back is turned, there's no way a refrag is possible. It has to be really low risk for you. And I think that his Valkyrie cam outside was found by the IQ early on, so he was going off of no information.
Great. Manages to find Achieved first this round. No Nitro Cell business this time. Pojo Man, though, does catch a response, and it's against Joystick as well.
Ooh, big kill there.
Entry power here for Empire on this.
Halfway through the round, piano wall is not open. Bolo gets Scyther. Big kill there as well. Because the red hatch pressure isn't coming in, Noe's dropped, red wall isn't open, Bolo just runs up and gets a kill.
Bolo also able to get incredibly aggressive, knocks out Scyther with a push into Christmas, and then takes out a drone for good measure too. He's been pushed back to the balcony, but Shepard's way too late to this party. No way he's gonna catch him.
Bolo then peeks some more.
Yeah, you gotta put some respect on that name for the love of God, because if you peek into this wrong, the man's gonna rip your head off. Wide swing, and it's actually.
So trade comes out. However, I kind of think this is a bad trade for, like, yes, it's a 3v2, you still have man advantage. However, this is how close it was. It was within about 10 milliseconds of both of you pulling the trigger. So why would you risk playing this aggressively? Last time Bolo did this, he lost the gunfight. This time he gets a trade. So I don't really see this as TSM is ever really is really being benefited through this aggression, where he is. So right now you have you have a 50%. Twice I've seen Bolo peak this. First time he has a 50% chance of flat out losing it. 50% of the time he has a chance of getting a 1-for-1 trade. So neither times does that actually benefit your team. It just is either equalized or it hurts. So I kind of think that I think that Bolo's being a little over aggressive here.
Actually gonna be Karzeka to win. It's a trade. Bolo, Karzeka battling it out. But again, TSM going to come out on top. That's not a bad trade.
Merc at Shepard.
Bolo. Merc continues to tack on. Shepard will fall. It's all up to Dan. We haven't seen too much of him from this game.
So let's see. I'm trying to remember how everyone died here, because this was actually Team Empire in the lead, I think. Okay, so Pojo Man peaks joystick. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. Wins the gunfight. That's after Cheat is dead. Bolo then kills Scyther because nobody's applying pressure through the new hatch area. / red hatch. Red wall isn't opened up halfway through the round. Trade then comes out. That's how... Actually, no. Scyther dies that. Karzeka then dies by the trade. And then it's a 3v2. And then Shepard dies to the Jaeger getting aggressive because nobody is watching the bar area.
Continues to tack on. Shepard will fall. It's all up to Dan. We haven't seen too much of him from this game just yet. Smoke with the one. Merc with the one.
He just gets the kill. So good round from TSM. It just comes down to the aggression worked out. I think that's kind of the thing about TSM, where if the aggression works, they win. If it doesn't, they lose. And it's very rarely in between. I think it's something that really TSM, I think it's something they have to work on. Where I think that they need to work on really two big things from what I've seen. The first is they need to know when to turn off the aggression, because that will lose them rounds at times, and it can lose them games. And right now, TSM, let me pull up the stats. If we look at Liquipedia, TSM in North America is tied for 7th place with the Sonics at 4 points, 115, -15 for both. And from what I know, the Sonics are making roster changes, which will definitely help them. Now, well, actually, I'd say it. Well, I mean, it can't really hurt them in this situation. They're 1-1-5. Now, I'll keep my opinion about all of those roster changes, who should go, who should not go, to myself, because nobody wants to hear that, and I'm just some random guy on the internet. However, this is kind of really, I full screen this for a reason. Why do I have the bottom here? You suck. Oh, really, there's a reason why TSM is tied for last place. I think that they have to work on that aggression. I think it's something that's really holding them back at times, because they give away early picks and frags that they shouldn't. And the same thing happens here. And they win rounds they shouldn't, they lose rounds that they shouldn't. And either way is something they have to work on. The other big thing I think they need to work on is their ability to improvise. How do they deal with this if they've never seen it before and it keeps on biting them in the ass? Because if they can, I think that if they can figure out how to use a utility effectively, as well as using that utility in a way to adapt, well, actually no, I'm trying to say they need to learn to adapt and improvise, where if they see something, they need to be able to say, okay, this is what we need to do it. This is where we put the claymore. This is where we use our vertical pressure. This is how we push. This is where we turn off the aggression so we don't give one-on-one gunfights. I think if they can do that, and they can be a really dominant team, because with Achieved, Merc, and Bolo all together, well, really it's Achieved and Merc on the fragging rolls, Bolo on flex, Pojo Man and Bio on support, with Bio on flex as well, more leaning support. They have all the talent they need to become a really good team. Problem is that they haven't figured out exactly how to play in Pro League just yet, based off that aggression. And yes, they will win maps with that aggression. They'll win with their play style. The problem is that I think they can win a lot more dominantly and lose a lot less if they can work that out. Now, with that, this is the end of the map 1. I will do more of these. I'll figure out whether or not I want to do more of Empire versus TSM, TSM versus whatever, Empire versus whatever, I don't know. Maybe it's SSG versus someone, I don't know. I'm just going to figure out a game, pick it, go off of that. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I apologize for any mistakes I make. I will make them. I am by no means a professional player. I will miss things. I will make the wrong calls. I don't know everything, and let me know if I do make a mistake, because if I can see where I'm making mistakes, that helps me. That lets me help you. Really, I'm watching these so I can better improve my gameplay. Really, that's why I'm doing it. I personally think that I'm improving with my game sense based off of doing these. I'm hoping I'm helping others do it as well. And so if I'm doing something wrong, let me know so I can fix it. Anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a good one.